And welcome all to Titans Olympus on this great Friday night. I am joined by Fel to bring you guys Strawberry Odium versus the I'm already gonna mess up the team name so badly the whole entire time. I'm already calling it. But real quick for you guys, the Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers. I'm gonna try to get it right every single time. Hopefully I can get it right. Uh so how you doing tonight, Fel?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers. Yeah, this is our second time seeing them. I think last time that we saw them, they had some bright spots, but overall not that great. They did end up taking Mike, or Watercat is coming in for this week, so we have a fill-in. So you know how it goes on Friday nights here. Once we have a fill-in, then they're probably gonna win. So maybe they could get that. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. But this is two teams that I don't think their seasons are going the way that they want, but they're both still in playoff contention. You know how it is. You make playoffs. Anything can happen. So hopefully both of these teams have been, working and scrimming and putting together a game plan for this. We've got as you know, as we get in the draft, and both of these teams, hopefully, you come off of this, especially if you're Strawberry Odium, you come out 3-2, you're still in second place or third place, depending on how everybody else does, and your season's going up. Bloom Gaming, you want to put a good showing out there. You want to see what you can do. Yeah. So.
Right, it definitely this is a very important game for Bloom Gaming, as we do see the bans coming out here, really targeting some of those mid laners, as we see the Zoe and the Victor picked up banned out by Odium, and then the bot lane being the focused targets for Bloom Gaming, with them banning the Aphelios and Jinx. Syndra to finalize the last ban for Odium, and we are waiting here for Bloom Gaming. Let's see if they'll finalize it with another ADC ban, and no, it's still a bot lane ban, but it's the supports this time banning out the Thresh.
Yeah, so I kind of like what Odium's doing here, right? Like, you have a sub coming in, you know that he's really good. Watercat is supposedly very, very good at mid, and known throughout this league already as a very strong mid laner. So just trying to take out any comfort champs, keeping them off of these, like strong assassin mages seems to be the game plan. So, and then, that opens up Bloom Gaming to be able to play everything else that they want, right? Like, that they're going to try to, focus the mid lane. So as Bloom Gaming, you get to pick the Corki and Nami, which is really strong, and especially for Cloudbry, who we didn't really get to see too much on like hyper damage the last time that we saw them. So this would be exciting to see them on the Corki with an enchanter. And if I remember correctly, Shark Enthusiast on these enchanters was actually pretty impressive.
And I do like the response to this is a very easy Ori ball combination with the Pantheon Orianna being picked up by Odium to finalize the bot lane. Since they do see that Corki Nami, they're gonna put the Xayah down there. I'm not sure how good I feel about that. Depending, I wanted to see what maybe their support pick is gonna end up being for the side of Odium. But I think I'm kind of more leaning towards Bloom Gaming, as the Hui is picked up for, I want to say, Watercat.
No, we're getting a Pantheon in the bot lane, baby. We're
Oh,
doing it. No, I don't actually know that, but I would love to see it. Like, into an enchanter like Nami, you have an all-in, especially with the Xayah, where she can get a couple, you hit the Q and W, a couple auto attacks, get the flowers behind, or feathers behind, get the Pantheon on top with the pressy attack, and then bam. But looks like instead, for the answer for Bloom Gaming, we are going to get the Hui in the middle to deal with this Ori, and that is we saw this a couple nights ago over in, I think it was Conqueror League. The Hui just kind of like overtake an entire game, and just completely just run roughshod. So I'm excited to see it again. I love this artillery style mage that just has so many different ways of really like dealing with the Orianna, as long as he doesn't let her get close. And then to round out the bans, we have Aatrox Mordekaiser for the top lane, and then Bloom Gaming, 2 more supports, Rakan and Nautilus.
as you said, you don't know if that Pantheon's possibly going into the bot lane. We still got a whole lot of flexing going on right now, as we do see the Shen being picked up here, and that could go to the top lane. That could be potentially a support Shen. Who knows? Either way, it's still oh no,
Jungle Shen.
They never mind. It's gonna end up being the Rel going down to the bot lane. I don't think Jungle Rel is still a thing anymore.
No.
So I wouldn't suspect that going anywhere near the jungle. So yeah, this is gonna be very interesting as the comps get rounded out. We do see Zac and Urgot being picked up here for Bloom Gaming. Uh,
Very strong.
I do like what Bloom Gaming's doing a little bit. Is a kind of a little bit more easier to tell what they want to do. Well, actually, both teams kind of want to do the same thing, where it's like, hey, we can either find one target and just jump on top of them. I just think actually Odium might have done it a little bit better between having the Orianna, Shen, Rel, and like like they can all just straight up like target just one person, and the Corki is not safe, the Hui is not safe, the Nami's not safe. So it's gonna really be on the Zac and the Urgot to try to really peel for their team and hope that they can't allow these engagers to get on top of them. And actually Zac is pretty good for disengage as well as Nami, so that should be able to at least help a bit. But if these guys manage to get on top of one person, Shen just goes in, Pantheon comes out on top, big Ori collapse, a big Ori ball collapse. This is gonna look crazy soon, come around like probably like 15 to 20 minutes into the game, and we're just starting to see the team fights really unfold.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with you. I think that both of these teams have very like strong, solid engage. I think that the two things that separate them is Odium has the Shen for the disengage / re-engage, right? Like that is something, and the Pantheon. So you have two globals where if you get caught out, we see this all the time with like Gallios and stuff. Like somebody gets caught out, and oh no! So now you get the Shen shield coming in, you get the Pantheon coming in the backside from the jungle, and then Bloom Gaming on the other hand, like they have very good poke, right? Like you have the Corki missiles, you have the Hui artillery shots and everything else, so like you can get caught out that way too.
Be pretty decent for poke.
Yeah,
you're right. You're very right about how both these teams. Both of these teams have some very, very good strengths for their compositions. It's just going to be a matter of kind of, I feel like who can press the buttons first. Because if you can't poke them out before they, they can actually like just engage on you, then you don't have that potential disengage from the Zac ultimate, from the Nami wave, and then being able to kind of combat, like turn the fight around. So I can see where potentially like for Bloom Gaming, they possibly could falter in certain fights. But right now, it's looking, as long as they can get through the laning phase, I think they will be perfectly fine. Corki tends to be a late game powerhouse. Urgot's eventually going to become a raid boss that can't be stopped. And I do eventually see like Hui also, like you said, potentially just running it down in the opposite direction in the good way, where he's just like he's actually running the map or running it down. Yeah. So I really do see both positives for both compositions, and I think that the only thing I can prove it is getting into the game. So we'll
absolutely. That. Okay, so with that, I think we haven't heard from production, but I think that we're getting close to starting the game. But we got to go with the Malco prediction. I think you're like 3 for 3 now. 3
I'm
for 3.
I'm 3 and 3 right now.
Okay, so who do you got for game 1? Odium or Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers?
I think I'm gonna end up going.
Minions have spawned.
2 global ultimates. That's like, it's like a oh shit button, like oh my god, Orianna's being jumped on top of. Shen, Pantheon. Next thing you know, the fight goes from a 1v1 or a 2v1 to a 2v3 or 3v2. And then you're getting taunted. You're getting taunted. You're getting stunned. You're getting it just feels like there's a lot that there's way too much map presence that's gonna come from the side of Odium that's gonna allow them to kind of just control this map. And I think I'm gonna have to go with their composition for this game.
Okay, I sort of agree. I do think that the sustain from the Zac, from the Nami on the backside of that, the shields from the Hui do add a lot, to the side of Bloom Gaming. I think that if this was 2 teams that were both like evenly matched as far as like strong in the standings, I would say Bloom Gaming. I do think a little bit of this comes to Odium, but the wild card obviously is going to be the mid lane with Aqua Felis coming in here. So we'll see how this goes. Looks like we have a DC in the Pantheon, and I thought the Pantheon was going to be in the jungle, but it's actually a Shen jungle Pantheon top. So I really love that from Odium because I love me a Shen jungle.
I think I would actually prefer it because Pantheon I feel like Pantheon eventually gets to a point where it feels like he's not really doing anything in the game anymore. He's just more of a, hey, jump on with W and try to stall for as much damage being dropped as possible so the rest of your team can do something with it. So I think giving Pantheon the laning ability so that he can actually farm, get some items, and potentially get himself ahead was a really good move for the side of Odium. But at the same time, it's like it's also into an Urgot. so I'm not sure how well that matchup is actually gonna be once he attempts to engage. So we'll see if there's any crazy 1v1s that's happening. Right now it seems pretty quiet on the Rift. We do see a little bit of trading that's been going on based on the health bars over in the mid lane, but aside from that, it's actually been a pretty decently quiet first 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, yeah, it has, and that's kind of indicative of like where these teams is sort of drafted for it. Neither of them really drafted for the super early game outside of the Pantheon Shen pick, but if Shen takes the E first, like he's not gonna be able to clear his jungle. So we may end up seeing something here. I do like the warding by Bloom Gaming, getting that into the offensive ward into the Tri-Brush here is gonna be able to spot out the Shen, and with their lane pushing this way, as we've seen a couple times now, we see the pings coming out. Hey, I want to go for the scuttle, but Corki and Nami have such a tempo advantage as they're slow pushing this into here. Guster Posey realizes this on the Shen and actually makes a very smart call to say, hey, we're going to go over to the top side. We know that the Zac is there, and avoiding a fight sometimes is just as important as like picking a good, you know what I mean? Like picking a good fight, but not, really getting anything out of it, as now he's going to end up getting the jungle as well. So that's going to put this Shen way ahead of the Zac as he comes out from this. So really strong call from the side of Odium. I really like it. Realizing their tempo is not where it needs to be, and just allowing the Shen to just get an extra camp is huge.
And like you said, like you'll see some teams that will looks like we got to pause. You will see some teams that will end up doing something like that, where it's like, oh, like I just immediately see that their bot lane so far pushed up. Let me just go ahead and make that immediate turn, and that would have possibly turned into a 3v3 fight that possibly could have gone the way of Bloom Gaming. So it was actually, like you said, it was very smart for the awareness of Guster Posey to just be like, you know what, let me just cross map it real quick, and I'd rather make that ravine than trying to give up free gold for no reason and then letting them start to propel themselves ahead over on Bloom Gaming side.
Yeah, absolutely. And they know the Zac is there, right? Because they had him tracked from the beginning. So they know he's down there. You know that like Zac is kind of like a Nivea in the fact that like, yeah, you can kill him once, but if you don't follow up and he's the first to die, you're gonna have Corki and Nami sitting there, poking you from the outside and sustaining the whole time, and it just would have been really hard. I really like the heads up play from Guster on that Shen to just decide to go there and then end up getting himself an extra jungle camp, which we have seen time and time again in this new season now, where the jungle camps are so important. We saw where a Wukong was 7-2, and the Kindred was like 1-2 or 1-1, but had like 20 or 30 CS advantage. It was like
30,
2 levels.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2 levels, everything else, and it just felt like so terrible. Even though you've done so much for your team, so I don't know how much I love the new jungle meta. I guess we'll just talk here for a little bit as we get word while we wait word from production. But there has been a delay in the game that we are at pause. But yeah, it's just, I don't know how much I love the new jungle meta, because I think it completely decentralizes ganking and playing around your strong lanes and everything else like that. But at the same time, it does change a lot of what junglers do, and different types of junglers are thriving a lot better in this meta than they did last season and the season before that.
I think it also I'm not gonna lie, like it's now that it's more incentivized to be kind of like that more farm heavy jungle in a sense. It also kind of made it a little bit easier for people to kind of get used to the role of jungle. I feel like that's why I kind of feel like that's the meta's kind of there. It's like, all right, so like it kind of it does make jungle a little bit more one dimensional kind of in a sense. Like, not to say that the jungle is a one dimensional role. It's just more like, hey, you can like farm, and you'll still, as long as you're consistent with it and you're not falling too, like, you'll be able to keep up with a jungler that's being more active on the map by assisting their team and like you said, playing to their strong lanes. And that's like we were describing between the Wukong and the Kindred that we ended up seeing. The Kindred being up about 30 to 40 farm made all the difference that they needed to still be ahead, even though the Wukong themselves had the kill advantage.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if it makes it easier or one-dimensional. I would say that it does sort of point everybody in a certain direction, right? Like, they wanted to figure out a way to like get rid of in pro play the 2v1 top lane and the constant swapping. And then next thing you know, you're at 16 minutes in a game and there's 0 kills because all it is lane swap, lane swap, lane swap, lane swap,
Yeah.
right? And then in, for like solo duo queue and last season in like amateur leagues and stuff like that, like it was just pick a support that roams well, pick an ADC that can farm under turret, and the first support to roam gets the grubs, gets the kills, gets like their entire team ahead, and then you get the feats of warfare, and you basically have a 55 to 57% chance of winning, right? As we're gonna get back into this game here, we are gonna get the wonderful small indie company pause buffer on the game, as we do have a fight coming up in the top lane potentially with some jungle intervention.
Yeah, the Zac is definitely looking for something, and as you can see, I don't think Valhalla has any clue that the Zac is there. There's no vision, so channel up, go slingshot right in. Ignite is dropped. Valhalla though able to miss out on the Q. Not gonna be able to. Zac's not gonna be able to get him, so he could just walk away. Flash and Ignite both dropped by Valhalla though.
Yeah, and just the Ignite for Cronium, which is important. That's always the jump past them, Q a minion, then Q your target, and then auto attack your target there. Like a little bit of a misplay on the Zac, but what are you gonna do when he flashes away, and then you just have like a long kind of thing there. But we do have Guster Posey here. Ooh, the flash
Gonna miss, almost gets it. Slingshots able to catch him this time. Brings him back in. Mike Leezy as Guster gonna go in to try to bring him back forward. Yeah, you don't want to stay here too much longer. Guster able to help out Valhalla and stop the that by counter jungling and doing that engage, but it was still like, oh man, you guys were really trying for that one. Now all the sums are dead up in the top side.
Yeah, absolutely, and we do have a level 6 Valhalla coming through. The shield is broken by Cronium. He is going to be under his turret, but that's going to be a wave that crashes in, and it's going to keep Cronium under his turret where he doesn't really want to be. He wants to be outside scrapping. He wants to force his Pantheon, into something now, especially as they're both hitting level 6. Pantheon's ultimate is absolutely huge because it's global, but it's absolutely useless when you're getting jumped on top of by an Urgot, right? So Cronium, if he can land the ult and the Fear Beyond Death and get it in while he gets him low, that's like an instant kill. Whereas Pantheon, the ultimate is very useful, much like a Quinn, but it doesn't help you in a 1v1. So this is not where Cronium wants to be. He's going to be behind on the push back here, and if Valhalla ults back to lane, sort of like an early teleport, Cronium might have to stay with like 5% health, otherwise he's going to miss out on basically a wave and a half of experience.
Well, let's see if Valhalla's gonna want to do that exact strategy, as Cronium is now gonna attempt to back. I think he can. Yeah, it looks like Cronium's
He's got to walk those slow, crabby legs back though.
Yeah, he's not worried. He's not worried about it either. Both of these laners not having TP is actually gonna make, I feel like, the top lane significantly scrappier, and that's gonna make it a lot more fun. As we see Mike Leezy. Huh?
Yeah, we just call him Mike. Big Mike.
Just call him Mike. All right, so we see Mike going into the jungle of Guster, trying to take his Raptors, as we're going to get a little fight between the two junglers right here, as Shen is actually dropping a lot of damage, and he does have the cavalry coming in with the Rel, forcing the flash out of the Zac, as Nami is walking up towards them to go ahead and back up her jungler, back up the jungler, and that is going to be a flash out of the Zac now. So that tool is now lost for when maybe they decide to do a little bit of a dragon fight. But it seems like so far, again, the overall game stayed completely even.
Yeah, and even though Hoi was there, I do think if he doesn't flash that and he gets caught up by the Rel, that's probably not going to go his way there. So good flash and really good job, putting that. Ooh.
Oh, Soul trying to drop, but the fear gonna come from the Hoi, gonna be able to make him back off. But if he was able to get that damage off, but he already used the ultimate, so he probably wouldn't have enough damage to be able to kill him. Wait a second.
Here comes the flash.
Is he brave enough for it? I'm not sure. I mean, he had enough minions under there. He probably could have forced it, but no, getting his summoners is going to be just enough, as Loveless is going to go in on top of the Nami. Shark Enthusiast trying to get away. Bubble not going to land, but utilizing the E, able to go ahead and push him forward and give him enough movement speed to be able to get away from that engage. With the flash also expended, that's going to be another successful summoner taken away from the side of Bloom Gaming. There, I like to see Odium really on this, like, they're on track. they're doing exactly what they need to do. Keep trying to take every small win they can and not force it. And that's what we're seeing from them right now.
Yeah, and the Tide Caller's Blessing is so freaking strong, with Corki, because it is going to end up helping slow everything down. And just, you can see how this, Rel can get like a really strong engage in there, but not very much comes out of it as like just the healing and the enchanting, or the healing and sustain that Shark Enthusiast can put out. And as it gets more... or I guess stronger. I almost said more stronger. As it gets stronger, it is going to become a huge issue when Corki can start putting a little bit of damage on Loveless here, and then Rel won't really have the ability to stay with, and that can be a huge issue for them as Zach's coming in.
The Zac, the ultimate gonna come out from the way, able to get pulled in. Soul trying to get away. The barrier gonna be able to save them as they got the shield coming in from the Shen. Shen was the barrier that was there actually.
Standing
And
yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was a Seraph for some reason. For an odd reason, I hadn't looked at the Ori's items for a little bit, and I don't know why I thought it was a Seraph shield. But no, that was actually the Shen shield gonna be able to stop that. That's what I mean by why I thought it was so strong for the Shen to be in this particular matchup. Because it's like, oh, that was the exact example. This just went from a 2v1 to a 2v2 with a massive shield that couldn't be stopped. So it's nice to see that Shen has that presence, but that level 1 of Shen's ultimate is such a long cooldown. So that's actually a really big tool that's lost by them, while the Zac will probably have his ultimate up for the next big fight that they end up doing.
Yeah, but you are still gonna have the Pantheon. Like that's an ultimate you will not use in lane, right? Like unless you get a kill on the Cronium and then Valhalla is just like, okay, I'm gonna back real fast and then ult to lane, or use it as like a teleport. But I don't hate the use of it. Obviously, he saved Soul of Ghost, and it's an ult for an ult, and Soul's ult was already down. I will say this, that the Ori is doing a great job of pressuring Aquafelis on this way. Like kind of like bullying this. Like you look at the CS difference, it only says 14, but that's like a lot against a champion who you normally just gets free wave clear and free like minion kills. So I'm kind of impressed with how well Soul is playing this mid lane matchup. Just on the stance of the fact that like you're 14 CS up in a matchup that I thought was going to favor the way a lot more. And just looking across the board, it's kind of like top even jungles, pretty even. The Zac did end up getting a little bit of payback for the early invade by Shen, but they're pretty even. Mid lane is definitely going Odium's way, and then on the bot lane there, we're looking at a 90-71 for the Corkis, having a pretty good time. Especially since he just kind of wants to stack up his tier and get to that Manamune as fast as possible.
That's
first on him.
And I think that's at least a good avenue to look at it for the side of Bloom Gaming, that their bot lane is actually doing pretty decent. I think it's like probably like a 200 gold, 300 gold difference right now between the two laners, but you see that Corki is consistently able to keep poking at the Xayah, able to stay far enough away with the Rels, or staying just out of the Rels range of engage, and even has a farm advantage, almost 20 farm up. So I think for Bloom Gaming right now, it's just like, hey, with the game feels even. There is no kills on the board. No one's giving up any, needless deaths. Let's just kind of keep it going slow, because eventually you're gonna have this Corki in this way that's gonna be dishing out so much damage. Wow, I feel like a lot more of the damage from the side of Odium, it seems to be a lot more front loaded. So like once they use up everything, it's going to be kind of hard for them to be able to continue the sustained fight, where we're going to have a lot more sustained damage coming from the side of Bloom Gaming.
Yeah, I do think that you do run the risk on Bloom Gaming though, if Hui end up getting taken out by the initial Pantheon, Ori, Shen, like whatever it is, like that front loaded damage as you speak of. Like if that happens, you do have pretty strong sustained damage. Like Pantheon, especially after his rework, really actually does like a good job of not just being like a one shot and now we're done kind of deal, right? Like he actually can, stack up a fair amount of sustained damage. Whereas, if one of the carries from Odium go down, you're still going to have the Xayah, you're still going to have the Ori, you're still going to have like other stuff on top of it. So interesting This is going to be a very interesting mid to late game when Pantheon really comes online before Urgot hits the boss stage. Before Corki and Nami basically cannot be killed just due to the fact that her healing is so strong and his Conqueror stacks come up so quick. But yeah, I do agree. Bloom Gaming definitely is way happier with this being an even-ish game starting out as compared to Odium that kind of you would expect they would want at least a kill or two ahead here, if not some objectives as well.
Yep, and right now the Zac is actually down on his bot side, kind of waiting to see if they can make something happen. The bubble lands on a domination, but it's not gonna be. It's gonna be under the Odium turret, so there's not much that can really be done. And Mike is just gonna back, not making this lane gank any possible. So I do like all this vision that they're dropping towards the bot side right now. It's saying like you know for a fact the jungle can't come to you from any angle right now.
Yeah. Again, there's just 5 wards committed to this. I love that.
But right now, we do see him making his way up top side. The mid lanes, though, is where they want to pay the attention to. I think Soul feels like he could probably drop a lot of damage down on this. Hold on, as we do see the top lane looking like it's about to get invaded. Cronium got to be careful here. I think the Pantheon could just jump on top of him. Ignite gets dropped, goes around. Mike coming in, and first blood off the slingshot. Right there, Valhalla feeling a little too confident. Is going to give up the first blood.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that that Pantheon walked in just to ignite Cronium to get the extra little bit of damage there, and paid with his life because he just stepped a little bit too forward. Cronium doing a great job using his spacing, being able to get in there and able to basically turn that whole thing around just by landing a max range dashes. Oof.
Ooh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, and that's the damage from Corki that just kind of not comes out of nowhere, but Aquaphilus
We got
also.
both ultimates being used. Aquaphilus going to use the flash to get away. Slingshot dropped in, looking for the Ori, but not going to be able to get close enough. Flash is in, trying to drop. Protobelt's forward, and he's gonna use the ultimate, get a couple bounces, and boom, Mike gonna take that kill on the Soul, jump back in, looking for the Shen next, but you forgot you're all alone because Valhalla is here too. Here comes the Nami. Shark Enthusiast coming to save their junglers. Aquaphilus is coming to try to dish a little bit of damage as the blobs try to find their way back, and it was so close, but not enough as the support Loveless is gonna be able to take that kill and get the shutdown onto them.
Yeah, that's not who you wanted to go to. I don't know. Like, Rel's important, but so is Shen, and now... Oof.
Oh, Corki, that's so much damage. 12 minutes into the game nearly takes the Rel's life away, as we're going to go back into this replay of that previous fight.
Yeah, and this is like Soul looks like he has Aqua here cornered, does a really good job getting the shockwave off, following up the damage, and just playing this really smooth. The only problem is it just wasn't enough. And then a perfect taunt timing from Guster Posey. Soul of Ghost, instead of like walking out where they needed to, kind of come back. A little bit of fancy feet, but you're just not going to get away from a Zac who has all that movement. And then, yeah, I think that he thought maybe the call was to come down here. Hey, Nami's here. We're going to be okay, but doesn't get it. And then Loveless, just take your hands off the keyboard, man. Just taking that away from Valhalla.
I think that was the aftershock that ended up taking that, and Domination nearly ends up getting their life taken away by Corki. That was very, very close right there for the Xayah. The Xayah not having to back off as their support is up in this top side. And I think they're going to try to get some revenge for Valhalla here from that earlier play. Loveless thinking, though, he's going to take the other way around. No, instead, we're looking down as we do see Zac here with Aquaphilus as he's fighting for the Grubs. I know people say Grubs isn't worth as much anymore, but he's going to slingshot in right in front of the Ori, and they know that the Shen this time definitely has the ultimate, so they're going to be able to... that is really quickly a fight that can get quickly outnumbered. You don't want that right now.
No, you don't. And I think it's smart from Bloom Gaming to sort of concede these. I don't think it's smart for Odium. I think that they have the power right now with the Pantheon and Ignite, with Soul of Ghost, with the Ori ult up, to sort of pressure this and get at it. You know, like I think these grubs are theirs, but they're giving them away, especially now that Urgot has back. So I would like to see Shen just kind of go for those and you know, and make the play for Odium and then just make the call. Go with the call because I think they win that 3v3.
Well, right now we're gonna see as Soul is having the fancy, like this is some fancy feat that I've ever seen. As Soul is just constantly dodging out on everything Proto Bells for, uses the ultimate as Soul is getting taken away. Oh, this is almost gonna be it as Shen tries to come in to help, but it's not gonna be enough. Guster, you couldn't save Soul, and Soul's life's gonna be taken, given away to Aquaphilus.
Oh, and at the same time, Pantheon's going to get swallowed up by Cronium. Cronium was, as we talked about earlier, the huge bright spot like 2 weeks ago when we, or 3 weeks ago when we, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago when we streamed them the last time. And he's just continuing to show his dominance here in the top lane. I really love the way that he plays, and it just seems like no matter what, whether Bloom Gaming is winning or losing everywhere else, he is like the constant bright spot of that team. So it's nice to see him still kind of continuing this. And Bloom Gaming, you know, on their heels as the 1-2 team or 1-3 team, you know, are putting together a really strong, you know, case to say, hey, we belong here too.
Yeah, honestly, they're really playing the map well, especially around like again these two global ultimates that could very easily turn fights into really bad ones for them. They're consistently being able to make things happen on the map. Shark Enthusiast being constant on the roams whenever the jungler is actually in the bot side of the map to make more out. Like I just like the constant awareness of the team from Bloom Gaming right now to try to win this game, and it's showing as we're seeing they're starting to get some shutdowns on their main carries, and we do see that Zac is just absolutely everywhere. No matter what, he's everywhere. So we're just gonna continue to watch this out and see if Bloom Gaming can finish this out, as they are currently 3k ahead, and we do have a fight where there's a lot of damage being dropped on the Cronium. Valhalla looking to get a little bit more with the spear, gonna end up missing. Cronium still healthy enough to stay up in this lane.
Yeah, Sundered Sky on Pantheon is like a cheat code at this point. Like, it really is. It's the up, up, down, down. As well, we're getting another
shot
fight.
Goes in, but this is now a 3v3 as they come on in. It's the match of the mid laners, the junglers, and the supports trying to get him down as Mike is nearly taken, slain out by Soul, and that's going to be 1-0 as they're able to take another kill on the board for the side of Odium.
Yeah, it looked like a strong engage, but they were not aware that Loveless was up here on the rel. And that was a great job just getting in there. And even though he's the tank, focusing down this Protobelt Zac right away, like, you know, I don't know if they know that his timer is not up from his passive from earlier or not, but you know, like, good job just like kind of turning that one around for the side of Odium. They did a good job of just staying with it, the wherewithal of Soul of Ghost and everybody to make sure that they took out, you know, the front line there, and there wasn't even enough that Shark Enthusiast could do, you know, on this Nami to keep him alive. So we're starting to see this Ori get a little bit of power behind her balls there, and you know, if Guster hits that taunt onto Aquaphilus, that might have been a 2 or 3 for nothing.
He doesn't see it coming. Valhalla now absolutely caught off guard, but I think the Shen is coming in to help make this fight a little bit more even. The ult being used as Guster goes on the Cronium, and it's going to be the shutdown going over to Guster, and now it's all alone as the Zac, as he's almost able to take him out. Valhalla going to be able to drop as the Zac now looking to be able to fight the Shen, but the Shen is looking for it too. He's able to keep hitting him. Bonk. Taunt, trying to go in, and is it gonna be enough as he flashes away and he's able to drop the passive? Now he's got to take the blobs out, but there's no one to help out Mike. There's no one to do anything. Instead, he said, I'm gonna back off. Slingshot dashes away, able to get caught up, and Mike said, I still want this fight. I'm bringing it back. And he's trying to get a little bit more as the autos get dodged by the Shen, and I think these two tanks are done with that fight for the rest of this time, and that's gonna be a very interesting play by both junglers.
Yeah, and I really love this on the back. You know, we'll talk about this on the back end of this play, though. You know, but you get the flash entrance. Shen coming in. We actually also have a fight in the mid lane right now where Ori's just 2v1. But yeah, like I really like this. You know, you get the ignite off. That's a ton of damage, and Shen's doing a lot of damage himself. And then I like this. After he goes in, the flash for flash, he gets the kill. He turns around and realizes, oh snap, there's like 20 minions around me. There's no way I win this. So I like the fact that he just leaves here, and they end up just doing a gentleman's handshake of, okay, you leave, I'll leave, and let's our top laners go back.
Ooh, that was so close. Guster almost taken down. It was going to end up getting into the maws of the crab, but they end up turning on Mike as they end up seeing the dish out the damage from the Xayah. She drops down the feathers, having to drop and to help herself get away. And that's going to be the end of the fight there. I thought they were really going to look for a full-fledged fight, but instead they all decide to back off.
Which I think is the smart idea, right? Like Xayah having to burn the ultimate there. Hui does a lot of damage to squishy players, right? He's got the haunting guys now. He has the Blackfire Torch already down. So now, as Valhalla.
Oh, Valhalla, you're getting caught under the bubble. Cloud Bride now looking. Valkyrie's in and is able to keep dishing out this damage. Nami though, looking like they want to go. They want to keep trying to chase down for the kill themselves. A little miscommunication between the bot laners there. I saw they ended up putting the bubble, the E on them to try to get them to slow down the Pantheon more. I think they could have gotten that kill if they chose to do so, but no, they decided to not keep going. They roam up though because they find Guster on the Scuttle Crab as Mike's gonna go in, and Shen's now in the middle of a 3v1 as Loveless and Domination. We're looking for Aquaphilus on the way as the Ori Ball gonna be able to call in the ultimate, bring them in as Soul of Ghost is going on a rampage, able to take out the Corki while Shen is gonna end up losing her life. Then it comes in the Starfall, gonna go in as Valhalla and is able to find a fight off of the backside, takes out the Hui as Ori gets another kill, but gets suppressed and drone in. Crodium able to take out the Pantheon's life, but now is it gonna be the end of his as well? The continued chase not gonna be enough as both teams end up losing quite a few members. 3 for 2 in the side of Odium coming out on top.
I don't think this fight is over yet because I think both of these sides want this dragon. You are going to have the Shen with this Stand United coming up in 5 seconds, so I think it would be wise for Bloom Gaming to kind of back this off. Oh my god, this Ori does so much damage right now. Yes, we see the Stand United coming in onto Loveless there. They will secure this dragon for free, and that's the power of the double global presence, right? Like, not that Stand United was used in that fight, but you did have Valhalla on the backside of that fight, come in on and be able to get on top of Aqua. But as this thing starts, it looked like Shen was caught, but there's also a 2v2 going on up here where, Aquaphilus on the top side of here does kind of get caught out. Zac doesn't realize it, goes in, there's no peel for him, has to kind of step out, but one good thing about Hui, he can, shoot from the backside. Now, Corki getting a little, or Cloudbright on this Corki getting a little bit too close, does end up eating the Ori Ball, and this Orianna is doing so much damage here. Valhalla Legend, you did your job. Now go get eaten by Urgot. And then after this, I don't think you're killing Urgot, but you're also not killing the rest of that team. And as the Stand United timer comes up, they realize it. They say, okay, we got to just kind of back off here. So really strong play from both of these teams. Even though Shark almost gets one tap from the Ori. But yeah, good fight from Odium. They're starting to kind of turn this game around. It was 5-1 at one point. The first dragon went to the side of Bloom Gaming, and now, Strawberry coming in just like little by little, clawing their way back into this game. And every fight that goes like that, where you feel like you have the advantage but you lose it, is just another notch in the belt of Odium. Is Soul almost caught out here.
Yep, Soul, they're looking for the target, but they do have Guster and Loveless here to go ahead and turn that fight right around. So yeah, they're not going to look for anything more because that 3v2 is not what you want there, especially with the Ori doing so much damage right now. Oh, hold on. They end up finding Valhalla, as that's a lot of damage. It's going to get taken out. Crodium going to be able to take that kill in the 2v1. The feathers get called, dragged back as Domination, though, going to be able to get the revenge kill for them as Shark Enthusiast ends up taking out Loveless. We didn't end up see what happened, but now it's just Soul and Guster against Mike in the bot lane, and Mike taken down so low. That's going to be the blobs, and I think that's going to be Mike's life taken there. They could actually do this. Nami Wave comes out and is barely able to save the Zac. Nicely done by Shark Enthusiast to be able to keep Mike alive.
Guster just take the kill, dude. Like, I know you want to hand it over to the Orion. We'll get into this fight here in a second. This is how Shark ends up taking it. Leveless tried to pop out. Just a really good engage by Mike on this Zac, and obviously the follow-up damage there. Orion kind of having to use this Shockwave a little defensively. But yeah, the flash forward, just you watch Guster Posey here. He sort of just stops and walks away. Just get on top of that and take that kill, because that is so much better for you to have that than nobody to have that.
Yeah, and that would have been nice to kind of help him accelerate a little bit for himself as the Shen build right now. I believe he's just looking at the Visage, and I can't tell what that's one of the newer items. I can't tell which one that is exactly.
Oh, the Protoplasm.
Protoplasm, thank you. Oh, hold on, Mike. They end up finding Valhalla and caught out on the side lane once again, and they're about to just give another kill right over to the Urgot. And there it is, Chronium going to be able to take out Valhalla Legend in this bot lane. This is once again Valhalla being caught out in the side lane.
Yeah, that is a new item from this, the Protoplasm. It basically, once you fall below 30% of your maximum health, you get a big bonus of health based on your max health, and then you heal extra on top. It's basically like, you know, a Tom Kench's or a whatchamacallit.
Soul under the tower, gonna flash away though, even though they're jumping on the Aqua Fearless Guster, and everyone gonna be able to do it. The Shockwave comes out, and that's gonna be Soul going dominating as Mike tries to jump back in for the sake of his mid laner, using his ultimate, trying to get away, and I think it would be just enough. No, Probo gonna be doing it, and it's not enough to escape as Guster this time he decides to redeem himself and take that kill.
Yes, I love the aggressiveness there. And one thing that I do have to say real quick before this next fight starts, because obviously we're going to keep fighting, is Valhalla has gotten to the point now where they are just in Urgot Burger. If he steps up and Urgot is there, like, he's just dead. So from now on, Valhalla kind of has to sit in the wings. Maybe even get them to come at him and just ult away or teleport away, but that kind of has to be his new home. He can no longer go anywhere near Chronium. I think the only person that can really deal with Chronium is Domination, and he's going to have like perfect spacing and Wasties to be able to do it. So that's kind of where the state of this game is at, but Strawberry still kind of feel like they have a little bit of the more momentum of this game, but Chronium, when he's there, as we're seeing right here, he just backs off 3 members of Odium like it's his job.
Now that we have the Ori, he's going in. Custer trying to find Chronium as Mike slingshots in to find the enemy jungle. The wave being dropped to the Shockwave, gonna obliterate the back end as Zaya ends up dropping Hwei. Orianna on the double kill. She takes out the support in the jungle, and now they're continuing the onslaught as Chronium's trying to get away, ignited down, and Zaya's gonna be able to take that kill with Corky being the only member left on Bloom Gaming, and that is gonna be Odium now trying to turn the game around. Big fight as they lose no one, and they're gonna end up taking the map. The rest of these objectives as the Drake goes over to the side of Odium.
I don't ever give it to the losing team, but if they win this game, I think that play alone cements Soul of Ghost as the MVP of this game. Like, watch this. Guster Posey kind of goes in on accident here. The tidal wave does kind of separate everybody, but these 2 squishy targets, the Hwei and the Nami, just basically fall right away. And just good heads-up play by Soul of Ghost to just realize where they are. And then obviously the follow-up damage from Domination. He's starting to come online with the Zaya. You know, and everything is sort of working out in their favor now. And that 4 for nothing just put Bloom Gaming so far back. They lost the turret. They lost the 3rd dragon. So that's soul point for Odium. This is becoming very one-sided very quickly. And Bloom Gaming has to do something quick to turn this around.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of like, oh no, is this where it starts to falter a little bit, because what I was saying earlier when we were just in the beginning of the game, I said like all they had to do was get to like the 15-20 minute mark. Once they start kind of like dispersing into the lanes away from their lane assignments, and then they kind of like they're able to actually kind of start team fighting. They're starting to start poking and trying to fight for, you know, these objective setups and things like that. And even though, like, yes, Bloom Gaming was doing that very well in the beginning of the game, now
Right.
it seems like they're kind of now starting to falter just a little bit, but hold on. Are they looking to go into this blue side jungle? No, as Soul of Ghost and Loveless are caught out on the top side, as Guster just
Channel.
immediately gives up on the blue buff, trying to go in and try to save Ghost. Channel gonna come out, as we do see Cloudberry trying to get the damage down and trying to get away. TP from Cronium to go ahead and find Valhalla to split up the fight. We do see, though, Domination off on the backside, able to take out Nami, and is looking to take out the Zac too, as Shen ends up taking Cloudberry's life, and now they're looking for Cronium next, as Valhalla's looking for his revenge as he gets it down on Cronium. Mike looking to save his top laner, not going to be able to do it, as now he goes into the blob form, his passive taken out, and that's going to be 4 members of the side of Odium able to take it, as Xayah commits the ace. 5-0 going over to the side of Odium, and that is the Baron turn.
Oh, this is officially Bloom Gaming's, Odium's game to lose here, right? Aquafila's just kind of getting caught out here, didn't really know what was going on. Yeah, that Ori just so much. And then Zac, like, they think that they have him here, but we have the teleport from Valhalla coming up on the top side here, and then Loveless doing such an amazing job just completely peeling for this Orianna while the Shen ult gets onto here. And then Domination on the bottom side of this, like, completely catches Navi and Zac off guard. You could tell that they were not prepared for that. And even though Mike kind of gets away there, yeah, this is just payback for earlier, right? Like, yeah, I can't take you 1v1, but I can 3v1 you. So GG's in the lane, but now I'm about to take this dub in the backside of this, because Odium is now firing on all cylinders, and Bloom Gaming has completely gone away from what works for their team comp, and it seems like they just kind of like lost where they wanted to be.
Like they in the sense of like the identity of what the team was looking for and how they wanted to play the game has just kind of went off the rails. So they don't really have the backup plan, as they're finding in their own jungle, and I like seeing this now. The Odium knows that they can bully people out of the jungle, and in that last fight, the Xayah didn't have their last Whisper item yet. They didn't even have the Navori in that fight. So they went back and got these items, and now are looking significantly more dangerous. We've been talking about Soul and the Orianna, but now we gotta start talking about Domination on the Xayah. It's really hard for them to be able to team fight. When I was talking about a lot of that front-loaded damage, Xayah's at the point where now we don't have to worry about that front-loaded damage anymore, because now they're as long as they stay safe and positioned correctly, they're safe on the backside, and they're just dishing out all that backloaded damage that's going to need to come out. And the Ori is far enough ahead where they're able to consistently keep using ball W over and over, and start willing them down. Like, they're also a poke machine. So I think that we're actually going to see we're actually seeing like Odium utilizing their team composition very, very well here. And now that they know that they're ahead, they're going to be able to take this mid inhib.
Yeah, they are. And I don't think that there's going to be much. I mean, this might be like a last second, or a last ditch effort to try to stop this. But good, strong, smart macro play by Odium here. Mike wants to go in.
Finds 2 of them in the middle. Ori going golden. Zac gonna use the ultimate. Ori does have to flash out and is trying to get away, but they do bring him back. Tidal Wave comes in, but goes wide and not gonna be able to hit anybody. Mike now going fully all the way in as the Valhalla is coming in, able to take out Shark Enthusiast off the backline after the Grand Starfall. And it's gonna be Cronium trying to get a little bit of damage off in the back, but he's now having to be stuck running away. When they thought they found the engage, it wasn't good enough, and Odium just too far ahead, and they're looking for Mike now too. And I think Domination is looking to add another kill to the board, as Valhalla is gonna find him there, not gonna be in the range of the W to be able to catch him out, and they're gonna back off. I know.
I love seeing that, and I used to play a lot of Zac, and it was so annoying when I would go up against an Alistar or somebody like that. But yeah, if he would have gotten that leap off, that would have been pretty cool. But yeah, and it wasn't that they didn't get the engage, it's just that they kind of fired. Like, I feel like Aquafilas like jumped the gun on what he was going to do. You know, the Zhonya's obviously, or the broken or Seeker's arm guard, kind of saving Soul really hard there, but just didn't have the follow-up. And then, then the overextension. Like, they still have not started doing what they're supposed to do, which is poke, which is disengage, then re-engage, or use your beefy Urgot in the front line and have Zac and Nami, help the other two. But Nami, like, Shark Enthusiasts, for as well as they've played on Enchanters before, like, they keep just getting caught out by these random Ori shockwaves, as now Mike kind of getting caught out by Loveless as his jungle is no longer his, and that is such a bad feeling, especially in this season of League where the jungle camps for the jungler means so much.
And I think right now it's like this is the biggest gold lead that we've seen the entire game. About 9,000 down for the side of Bloom Gaming. They really have to try to find a really good pick, utilizing this Zac and maybe Urgot combination to try to pick off a couple of members. They can't really play into a team fight composition. Like they can't engage into them for some reason. Like it just doesn't work. As we're gonna see, if they can try to do is a big shockwave. Gonna land in the 3 members. Soul of Ghost going legendary is the way. It's taking out that so much damage gone. His domination is gonna take out the Urgot. And now there's only 3 members left of Bloom Gaming. The bot lane and jungle is all that's left, and they can't do anything else as the opposition on the side of Odium is just so far ahead. As we take a look right now, so much shutdowns on the bot side, on the bottom half of the team for the side of Odium. The jungle, the mid, the ADC, the support all got shutdowns for themselves. The Zac looking to try to use his Sing shot was charging it up, but I don't think he wants to engage into that right now. The Xayah could actually just shred him down.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just not seeing it or, you know, it's coming out of the fog of war or something, but Soul has been able to put this ball anywhere that they want every single time, catching out either Nami, Corki, or Hwei, or a combination of, you know, 2 or 3 of all 3, right? So,
oh, they said we're gonna just find the target that we can,
yeah,
Valhalla, and though
can.
nothing else to help pull him back in, and he's gonna be able to walk away.
Yeah, so we see Valhalla getting caught out here. They do see Soul of Ghost coming up here, but yeah, just getting that off. Once the ult and then the W damage just comes through, it's so much. Soul has gotten so far ahead. I do believe they have a Mage Eyes with like 15 stacks now, so there's just not much they can do unless they can catch her in a position where like she's just so far out of position. Yeah, 18 stacks. Once that gets to 25, if this game is still even going on, that's going to be like an insurmountable Ori, especially with the Zhonya's on top of it. So Odium playing their comp really well so far. It seems like they're about to close this game. They have the Chemtech Soul. They're about to get the Baron. Unless Mike can pull out something really... like some big heroic leap, but that is going down so fast.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get there in time as Rel jumps over the wall looking for something as they find Cronium, and that's going to be Valhalla using the Grand Starfall to try to engage, thinking they were going to find more of a fight. They get the ult out of the way, but that's just about it. There's nothing else to be done. Baron secured by the side of Strawberry Odium.
Yeah, I don't know how much I like that. Over pursuance on the backside. I get Loveless has a Hex Flash and can go over and stuff, and then Guster kind of going, but you might need that. You know, it would be really nice to have that grand entrance, you know, if you could, but you know, to close this game out. Hopefully that doesn't bite them in the butt on the back end of this. You know, they should still be able to win this handily. They have a 12k gold lead. They have the Baron. They have Dragon Soul. So I don't think that's going to hurt them, but that's kind of what we've been seeing Bloom Gaming do this game, like every time, you know, just overextending and overchasing. So I'd like to see a little more restraint from the side of Odium. I know that they're like kind of just probably limit testing at this point now, but yeah, that could have went bad with Valhalla getting caught out there, but...
Waiting to see as Corki is poking out Guster quite a bit. That they may be behind, but they still do a decent bit of damage with the Nami bubbles dropped on top of him too. So they just have to be careful. Soul caught by the Zac, not going to get pulled back in. Having the ball, giving them the vision, trying to see what they can find. Looking for the shockwave. If they can actually... Oh my god, if they I thought they were about to get it. I thought they were about to get it onto the Corki right there, but no. That ball is so dangerous, and they're just trying to stay just outside of its range. They're still looking for something as the ball gets called back, and they're just letting the minions continuously bombard onto this bot lane turret as Valhalla is being matched by the Urgot up in the top side, trying to split up the map quite a bit. These Baron empowered minions barreling into the bot lane, gonna be able to secure this bot side turret. The inhib looking like the next target as the inhib in the top side starts to slowly go down. Cronium not able to actually fight against the Pantheon currently at this point, so he's not gonna even be able to deny it, as we do see the 2 inhibs go down, the third about to drop, and I think they're looking for this fight
Yeah,
as
this
we
seems like
do.
game.
All right, no, never mind. They're gonna back off here. They said we got all 3 inhibs. We can just, try to secure whatever the next objective is. And it's actually the Elder Drake as it just spawned. So I think they want to try to make sure that they can secure this next fight no matter what. We're just waiting to see if potentially they could also bait him into an engage.
Mhm.
Actually, that could be also it too, because they like, I mean, they're forced to fight you at this Elder Drake, or else they lose. So Mike right now being found by Valhalla, gonna try to draw him in, and that's gonna be W, jump right back in, spear, slingshot, going in to try to find him, but he does have the rest of his team right behind him. Chronium now getting caught out, drawn in the feathers, and that's gonna be Guster taking a kill as Zaya was able to take out a lot of damage onto the Urgot, and he's jumping back in as well. He was able to pull them all, and that's gonna be legendary Souls of Ghost as Ori is able to take out the Nami, being chased down. Aqua Felix is getting chased by Domination, not gonna be able to get it. But that's 3 members on the side. About to be 4 right here, right now. Solo Ghost going legendary, definitely the MVP of this game, and that's gonna be Odium marching down the base and taking this game in 40 minutes.
That is such a good use of this Oriana here. Like, you have 3 almost guaranteed, ways in, and we see it all the time where they just kind of screw it up, or they only rely on like the Nocturne ult or the J4 or whatever. But yeah, really good job by Soul of Ghost here. I think that like they completely just like changed the trajectory of this game around like the 12-minute mark, where they just started. I think it was like once they got Blackfire Torch and then survived that initial Zac gank that came into the middle there, and the Shen turns it around while he was on the Void Grubs, and then they kind of get out of that, and then from that point on it was 5-1 Bloom Gaming, and everything sort of started going the way of Strawberry Odium at that point, right? Like every play and every team fight seemed to go either 4 for 3 and then 4 for 2, and it just seemed like they really just kept playing to the style of their composition the way that they wanted to, and it seemed like the longer we got into the game, Bloom Gaming kind of got away from theirs, right? Like, you have the Corki for the poke and the sustain damage, you have the Nami for sustain and the healing, and of course you have Zac and Urgot with shields and heals of their own, and then you have the Hui, like artillery mage and a lot of, crowd control and spacing, and it just kind of got away from it, as we'll see this last play here. Look at this positioning from Soul. They wait for so long to get this ball off as Loveless tries to get into the background here. Cloud Bride comes over, is going to flash back because they're like, oops, and then Ori ball covered over the top. Like, such a good play, and at that same time, Domination, just not even really a part of that like inside fight because he was outside, just killing the Corki. So yeah, just at this point of the game, they were just so far ahead. It seemed like it was just a lost cause for Bloom Gaming. They put up a good effort, had a very strong start, but it would be really nice to see them bounce back after that. But what a strong performance by the side of Strawberry Odium.
And honestly, like you were saying, like in the early game, we saw a lot of the strengths of Bloom Gaming's composition being utilized. Again, the Corki did have a lead initially in that bot lane. Chronium was constantly getting the better of Valhalla with Mike coming up to the top lane and still being able to match the farm of the Shen as well. It's not like as if this game in the early game for like honestly the first 15 minutes, it's not like as if this game was completely like uneven. Like these two teams were playing like matching up to one another, and you gotta remember like it was 0-0 for quite some time before they finally started actually like ramping up what was going on. So I think for what it was for this game, Odium just knew that they had to play to what their ultimate strength was going to be, which is these really strong engages, being patient, waiting for us to dish out all this big damage on our big targets that we're looking for. It's like, hey, you were talking about how there's constant sustain from the Nami. Well, what if the Nami gets blown up by a shockwave? Then there is no constant sustain from the Nami the whole game, So it is like that is something that it was good to see, especially from Solo Ghost constantly on this Ori, able to find those super important, like you said, 2 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 Ori balls, Ori shockwaves that ended up taking out targets. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and send it over into the break, and we'll see you guys back here for game 2. And welcome back. Here we are after game one of Odium versus Bloom Gaming. And from what it seemed like, we thought that it could potentially be like Bloom Gaming really getting on something at the beginning of the game. And then all of a sudden, Soul of Ghost opens up their third eye in the mid lane and starts getting these absolutely insane shockwaves. We've seen consistent ganks being made by Guster Posey to keep their presence on the map ever so known, and it ultimately ends up leading to an Odium game one victory. Off also like a lot of damage coming out from the bot lane as well. That was an insane game one for them, and they're gonna definitely look to close it out in this game too. But Bloom Gaming, I think, has still a little bit of punch left in them to try to get right back to Odium, and we could be seeing an absolute banger of a series here.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope so, right? Like, you don't ever want to see it go out like that. That was probably very disheartening for the side of Bloom Gaming. And one thing we didn't even get to touch on was probably like the last 4 or 5 team fights that happened in that game. Basically, was Bloom Gaming missing wide left or wide right on like every tidal wave, Zach went in a little bit too far at bad time. Like, it was just like everything just seemed off by like a couple inches, and that's what happens when you get tilted, and that's what happens when things aren't going your way and you try to force and everything else, and there's players on the other side that are trying not to let you hit them, right? And so we just saw a lot of that. So hopefully they turn it around here as we get into the draft here. We are going to get the same bans from Odium. They are going to keep, I guess, Aquafelis. I don't know if he's staying in or if Watercat is there. I don't know if that is correct on the screen. We did see Aquafelis in there. And if it is, maybe these are his 3 champions that he's good at, and like he's going to have to find something else. So if that's the case, I wouldn't hate to see like a Malzahar or a Rise or something like super simple, because the Hui up against the Soul of Ghost Orianna just seemed very pedestrian at best, and something with a little more ease or comfort for him, hopefully he has, will serve them right.
And we do end up seeing here for some of the picks from both of the teams that we do get the sisters on the side of Bloom Gaming, as the Jinx and the Vi being picked up as the first 2 picks, and they're currently winning the third. As we do see also on the other side, Jarvan Yunara is going to be the jungle ADC picks for Odium, and to cap it out in the mid lane is going to be the Talia. So not exactly the simple thing you're looking for, but Talia Vi tends to be a pretty decent combination that a lot of people like to go for, and we do obviously see a lot of in pro play as well. So it kind of makes sense that they're doing this. And look at the classic counter. So it looks like pro play all over again. We're literally getting an Azir Talia matchup in the mid lane. So this should be pretty interesting. And also, we're getting a little tidbit. Aquafelis is Watercat.
Yes,
It's the same
Watercat,
person.
okay.
I thought the same thing too. I was like, it almost seems like they're synonyms of each other, right? Like,
I should know this. I always make fun of my kids for living in LA and not knowing Spanish, so that's my bad. Yeah, so we are going to get the Talia Vi. I do like this. It is very strong, but into an Azir, like he does have a lot of mobility. It is going to be really hard to kind of catch him, but they will, Bloom Gaming is going to be the ones that have a little bit more of the global presence now, with the Talia being able to get on the wall and ride it down, and then Odium seem like they kind of want to have like an all-in thing here, like group them up with the Cataclysm, drop the Rumble ult, Yunara pop her ult, the W hits everyone, and then the Q automatically activates. So they do have a very strong fight here, for the mid to late game once this Yunara gets ramped up. So I do kind of like it. And then Bloom Gaming seems like they're going for a very standard, front to back, bring the beefy Scion, have the Vi there to try to get on top of Yunara and maybe lock down domination and follow it all up. They have a very easy play to make. When the Vi is in there, you could just throw the Encore over, as we're going to get... is this an Anivia support? Or is this a... Yeah, it's got to be an Anivia support, right?
Unless you want to try to do something spicy, go Rumble in the jungle with a J4 support and Azir top, yeah. But I highly doubt that's happening, right?
Top, I know that's a thing too. It's so annoying to deal with, but into a Scion, I don't know if it's going to be as effective. Yeah, so I do know that Anivia support has been gaining a little bit of ground, maybe in the underground. I haven't been seeing it in these leagues yet. So if that's Loveless on the Anivia, this is a for fun for kind of deal, and I'm all about it. You know me, I love these weird, wonky kind of drafts as it is. It's going to be Loveless on the Anivia along with Domination. I really like this. If Loveless can play this as well as they played the, the Rel, very strong on the engage champs, very strong on the tanky engage.
I was gonna say, actually, I do really like this bot lane if it is Anivia Yunara put together, just due to the fact that when you like, if Anivia can slow him down, Yunara, even like if you want to get like some cheeky level 1 dueling cheese done, right? Yunara, when an opponent is slowed down, like Yunara is one of those ADCs that even at level 1 can literally run and gun you down. Yeah. And I remember I called this out and I ended up caster cursing, and all of a sudden the Yunara just ended up getting absolutely dumpstered in the same game I said this. But I can see where this is coming from this time around, though, because this can be a lot more damage that's put on, and I don't think Jinx Seraphine exactly can kind of sustain against all the damage that possibly will be coming out from them, especially in the early game. That shield is an extremely long cooldown. I believe it's about 22-second cooldown level 1. So it's gonna be gonna be a lot of space that this Anivia Yunara is gonna have a lot to be able to poke out in the bot lane, or potentially duel out in the bot lane between the Jinx and Seraphine, potentially get themselves ahead. But I'm very curious to see how this game is going to end up going for the side of Odium, as like you said, we're going to see, like, once they actually come into the team fight point, if Jinx could just stay in the back, the Seraphine has the enablement of her ulti with the Vi and the Scion. We should see, like, team fight wise, I feel like this is going to be a lot more even in comparison to the last game. But if we do end up seeing, like, say, Shurima Shuffle into Anivia Wall into Jarvan Cataclysm with the equalizer on top, and Yunara just punch away, that like it's kind of, you can see what both teams typically want to do for their team fight, like what their ultimate, like, perfect team fights look like, and that's what they're really going to be fighting for. I wouldn't be surprised to say that Bloom Gaming actually could take this next one.
Yeah, no, 1000%, and I'd love to see if they did too. I would like to see a best of 3. Yeah, I'd like to see a best of 3 come out. I kind of want to see this for Bloom Gaming. The last time we saw them, they kind of got beat pretty bad. That first game didn't really go their way, so just off of that, I would like to see that. And now we're starting to see the Talia able to do a lot more than the Azir early on in this game. And yeah, no, this is not a press the R like an MF Cataclysm over the top kind of deal, but it is kind of like a press R and win the game comp, right? Like, you do have the Cataclysm into Anivia ult, into Equalizer, into just like all of the stuff that can just AoE them down. But if you end up using it all on like one member, or there's a lot of flashes, and then there can be like a re-engage from the side of Bloom Gaming, I do think that you run the risk of overcommitting your resources if you are Odium. But if they play it very smart like they did the last game, and they kind of do what they're supposed to be doing, is a little bit of scrap coming
gonna land, gonna get the chill off, and that's actually a decent chunk of damage. Olivia having the electrocute is gonna make that early game poke really dangerous to get hit by for Cloudberry in this bot lane. So yeah, definitely well done by the Olivia to get that chunk of damage down.
Yeah, awesome job. And this is something, like I said, I have seen this a couple times. Solo duo, it's really annoying to deal with. Anivia is one of those champions that somehow went from only Froggen knows how to play it, and it sucks if it's not him, to every time I see him in my games, even when they're on my team, they seem to somehow do really, really well. So there's just so much to it. I think there's, it's definitely one of those champions that has gained a lot of ground in my eyes to be a pick or a ban kind of champ. So yeah, outside of that, the rest of this is kind of going the same way here, where you have both junglers pathing down. I don't know if either side got vision.
1v1, Valhalla gonna try to flash out as Cronium almost ended up able to secure the kill. Yes, he is. He has to try to go around. He's not going to be able to. Cronium now getting the shield, going to try to proc it as he procs his own shield. And first blood in a 1v1 up in the solo top lane. Going to go to Cronium. And that's Bloom Gaming trying to get themselves on the board and ahead.
I will say this. At least they both have teleport, right? As now Auguster and...
Oh,
Mike
they're
want to
gonna
fight.
have a fight between the two jungles, but Mike right now having the advantage, punching Guster out, flag drag, gonna try to get away. Are you gonna use the Volt Breaker, channeling, trying to get the Q, force the flash out of Guster and out of his own jungle. Mike can at this point just invade, but he is gonna get caught out. But Aqua Fearless gonna end up getting taken down, but that's gonna be Cloudberry on the roam up, gonna be able to get the revenge kill. And we're just seeing death all over the map as Mike is forced to flash. He has to get away after taking out Guster. 3 kills for the side of Bloom Gaming, already about 1,000 gold up, and they're already looking well posed as Mike almost ends up getting taken out. Azir knows where he is. Soul is looking for him. Does he have the flash? No, he doesn't. Can't chase Mike. Gonna get away. Please, please just start walking towards the Krugs. Oh, wait, though. Guster is here. Can he get it? Flag and drag doesn't go through. He's just good. Can he get the execute? Is it gonna be? No, Guster did get the slight hit. Yeah. Okay, the E got him, but it didn't actually drag him over. But good job as they were able to get that back. Still about 1,300 or about 700 gold up. Not 1,300. I looked at the reverse way. But about 700 gold up for the side of Bloom Gaming. With all that fighting all over the map, was not expecting that to happen 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and this whole thing starts out, so they tried to match the tempo. Mike, we're not going to see it, but Guster, as you can see him over on the top side with this Gromp here, like, tries to match the tempo and get a little bit ahead and get to that scuttle first, but Vi's clear speed is just so fast. And there was 2 points where you saw Vi, like, further down on the map, and her thing is still up here. So I love this Mike Lacey just, like, saying, okay, I'm dead, I'm just going to go in here. And then all of a sudden realizing, wait, maybe I'm not dead, and I think that if they didn't stop for the Gromps, they would have been okay. Or maybe they were just trying to get it before Azir got the final kill. But yeah, the speed of Vi's clear is so fast. As
He just charged in on him in the ulti, and that's another solo kill going over to Cronium up in the top side. And this Scion is now online, 2 kills.
Yeah, and you never want to lose a lane, but you really never want to lose a lane against somebody that you should bully early and that outscales you in the end, right? And that's exactly what Cronium does here. And what we were saying in game 1 is Cronium has been the bright spot, at least for the games that I've watched and the ones that I casted with you. Cronium was a huge bright spot in both of those. And, you know, he's still showing this now, you know, here on this Scion. And even in the last game, you know, on the Urgot was really strong in the early and mid game. So I do kind of like this, you know, from them. And it definitely feels like, even though they had a strong early start last time and got the first 5-1 kills last time, this seems like a little bit better for the side of Bloom Gaming. And it seems like they have a much more comfortable composition that they're trying to play through.
And I think for them, it's definitely going to be a lot easier. Like you said, we have kind of some of the weird picks. Hold on. Mike is here. There is no vision, and they're really pushed up. Domination, not looking for it. Mike, though, looking for the Anivia as they're caught too far up. Flashes out. Voltbreaker going to miss, but not going to get it as they're put into the egg form. Yunara trying to drop a little bit of damage, but Mike Lacey going to be able to take that kill onto the Odium support.
Yeah, as you were coming around, you know, and I was like, I really do. I love that. I love the aggressive nature of Mike on this Vi. Kind of tried to do this with the is a little bit of a scrap is over in the middle.
Yeah, we do see Aqua Fearless able to get a lot of damage down on the Soul of Ghost, and this is what we wanted to see from the Talia. Even if the Talia doesn't necessarily get the shove, she still puts on the Rumble Earth. If he decides to shuffle, he's gonna end up taking that damage. So it's actually nice that they kind of have that nice little counter for him as they're shuffling in, trying to fight for this Drake. Mike Lacey, though, looking to support his mid laner as he goes and gets shuffled away, but Aqua Fearless gonna be able to take out Solo Ghost. Mike Lacey getting stunned up, flag drag, trying to find him, gonna take a lot of damage from the Rumble Earth, but it's still gonna be the J4 able to take out the enemy jungler. And I believe this Drake can go over to the side of Odium, but instead they're looking for this bot lane, and I think they're not gonna go for the dragon, even though I think that might have been a pretty decent time to take it. But
I think the level 6s of Cloudbright and Shark Enthusiast were a little daunting. You know, like you have the execute damage from the Jinx rocket is super huge. I think it actually has a potential to do more damage than Smite if the Smite is late. So you don't want to deal with that. Also, with them both being level 6, you'll have the Encore to be able to you know, taunt everything up. So I think that's a smart call from them, but they do need to decide where they want to go. Is the ultimate is going to come in Valhalla Legend?
And this is
Not
just
have
so
it.
much damage being
Yeah.
dropped onto the Rumble. The ult being used by the Scion, but geez, Valhalla going right back to his own fountain to heal back up. Yes, he has his TP back, but he's actually being forced to stay as they're gonna go. Mike Lacey goes under, Solo Ghost not able to shuffle away, has to walk it out, but flag, drag, Guster trying to find him, gonna be shoved right back, and that's gonna be damage. Cataclysm dropped on the Mike Lacey, he has nowhere to escape. Guster Pony not going to take the kill. It's going to be Soul instead as the rocket barely going wide, almost misses him and almost ends up taking Valhalla Legend with him. And that would have been crazy if he ended up taking that hit. The equalizer drop trying to find Cronium, and it's not going to end up finding the target Cronium, finding some fruits to be able to eat up and be able to stay in this lane a little healthily as we're going to see Valhalla having to be forced to back.
Yeah, and I know that there's probably going to be another fight here in a second, so I'll let this play out before talking about that last play. Okay, it looks like we're safe for the moment. Yeah, I hate that equalizer at the end of that. I kind of feel like that is like one of those like...
Oh, Anivia able to land it. The Encore gonna come out, able to charm up Domination, taking so much damage onto this Yunara. And that, even though they were able to get a chunk of damage down the Cloud Bree, Domination though couldn't dish any damage back, and that's gonna be a lot lost for the bot lane of Odium.
Yeah, and I know that every single player that is in this game is way better than me. However, I hate these cross-map Jinx rockets. Same thing as like with the Ashe, like when you have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and they're just firing it across the map and like hoping and praying instead of for something good. If Cloud Bride had saved that ultimate, the Jinx rocket on top of the Seraphine ultimate, they would have had a free kill there. So I'd like a little bit of smarter play from Bloom Gaming. That's kind of like what happened at the end of the last game too, where all of their ultimates and all their resources started missing wide left, wide right, and those little telltale, minute things can turn into really big things when now you're not getting the kill that you could have had, and you're not getting everything else that you could have had. So those small things can add up really well. I still think they're in very good shape in this game. This mid lane Soul of Ghost is still killing it on this Azir. Not as strong as the Ori was last game, but still just about as impressive.
And Mike Lacey is seen on a ward, and now he sees it himself. Gonna clear it out in his red side jungle. And I do see Guster trying to wait and see if he can make something happen here, but the Talia I think is wise to the fact that there might be the jungler there. And Cronium just able to just poke the Valhalla from under his turret. That's just unfortunate. Like you said, this is a lane that you were supposed to bully, and it's not exactly going that way. 2-0, 22 farm down. You're not having a real good time as this Rumble right now. And yeah, your equalizers
That's
are
a better use of it, honestly.
Yeah, it's just basically used to clear the waves at this point. You don't want this Scion pushing too far into you, as he's gonna ult and jump and is just gonna knock you up. The Valhalla gonna try to get away, has no shield, but Cronium doesn't get anything else out of him. He didn't have anything else to give, and that's just another force back into the lane as Mike Lacey almost found Soul of Night at low HP as Cloud Bree is nearly taken out by Guster Posey in his bot lane. Nice gank, even though the egg was used. This is Talia now coming to the bot side. I don't think she did not use the ultimate. She just walked it down, was able to meet them, and now this stops any further engage from Guster Posey here on the bot side.
Yeah, and we'll probably get a replay of that and see how that happened. But yeah, this Cronium on the top side here, Valhalla is about to fall again because we have Vi waiting in the wings and there's no vision. If you could just imagine if this dude was like building any sort of AD on this Scion, like if he was going for like a Titanic or something, I think Valhalla would probably have 2 or 3 more deaths. Here we go.
Yep, they end up finding him. Mike Lacey being awarded for his patience as he was there. Guster Posey able to come up here to back up his top laner, waiting for any more additional engage.
Yeah, and so here over on the inside, this is what happened. Yeah, before that, which made this kind of all possible, and Soul of Ghost had to flash out. Like, does a really good job, using the ultimate to get away and flashing out. Pretty much dead to rights, and we see now why that Talia and Vi is so strong. Here's the Weaver's Wall.
Oh, there he goes. Tries to use the Weaver's Wall to get away. Not going to be able to escape, but the Weaver's Wall is also going to seal his fate as Mike Lacey drops. But at least he's able to take out Akafelis along with him.
So I think, no, they were trying to use that to cut him off. And I don't know if Watercat was like trying to use that. but I think that they just wanted to. I think Watercat just wanted to like put it down and then not ride it, but he rode it in Soul of Ghost with the timing and the wherewithal. Like this dude's awareness during like tense times is absolutely insane.
Both of these, and it's funny because both of these two can compete with each other because not necessarily either one of them has really gotten any damage. As Cloudbreed down here gonna end up getting the double kill as they end up taking out both the bot laners on the bot side, and now we're seeing a 3-0-1 Jinx full Yuntals, and this is not looking good for the side of Odium right now as Bloom Gaming is getting some serious leads.
No, it is not. No, Aquafila's here. Like, and this is what I think they were trying to do. A good flash, getting out. You see everything working in their favor, and it looks like he tries the Weaver's Wall, and then I don't think that he wanted to take it, or he didn't think that Soul maybe had like a Sand Soldier to put out a little BM at the backside of that. You know, just a little hey, checking in with you. How are you? And then I guess yeah, we'll see what happens on the backside of this. It did look like Lovelace had caught him out, but then stepped on the chompers. Those chompers are like a 2-second. That kind of sucks. And then yeah, once Jinx gets excited, it's not good. She has the Yuntals already built up. I don't think that it's completely stacked yet, but you know, working on the way. And we know that once Jinx gets that, we do see how much damage is done by Loveless here. I think once they get this Rod of Ages completely turned up, it'll be good. But ooh, Soul of Ghost missing the ultimate. That's very uncharacteristic of him for the last 2 games that we've seen.
Yep, and instead it's going to get caught out by 3 different members as Jinx gets donated another kill and is going on a rampage. Cloudbreed on the roam up, able to take that kill onto Soul of Ghost. And right now, almost 5k up for the side of Bloom Gaming. These guys are really running this game 15 minutes in.
Yeah, and another thing too, we kind of saw this one starting to like manifest itself when we had the fight up top and oh, never mind, here comes.
Oh, Encore taken, Loveless caught out, no egg to save you this time. Shark Enthusiast though, gonna be able to take that kill and put themselves on the board.
Yeah, and we kind of saw this earlier when Guster Posey had ganked the bot side, and we watched the kill up on the top side, and then we went down there, and it was like, oh, Loveless was in egg form, and it was a 3v2. So Jinx has already hit the point where they can start carrying this game and Cloudbreed can put this game on their back if they can play it properly. And I don't see any reason why they don't. And like this could be Bloom Gaming's way back in here. I think that. Maybe they got a little bit too cute with the Anivia.
Oh no, Soul of Ghost getting found out, able to shuffle away as Cronium still trying to chase him down, gets the knockup, 1 tap away, single digit HP, easily, almost gets taken down. Mike Lacey though looking for the next kill as he goes Volt Breaker in, forces the egg form out of the Anivia as the ult goes in, gets Guster Posey off on the backside, and Scion gonna be going to killing spree as they take out the Anivia from under the turret. And they're still looking for the Azir. Azir able to get away ever so barely. Yeah, no, the heal came by too quickly. He wasn't gonna get that cheeky kill right on the base, right on the back. So that's still though 2 kills over to the side of Bloom Gaming, and they are really making a name for themselves in this game.
Yeah, they are, and I don't know what the reason for.
The equalizer dropped. He's gonna get popped, and that's actually gonna be a lot of slowing down. I don't know if you can get away from this. Valhallan able to get the kill up on the top side, and I think he's gonna try to look for the Vi too, at least fight it out. But Vi, Mike Lacey getting the blast shield and is gonna be able to take down the Rumble in revenge for his mid laner.
Yeah, and here's the fight in the mid lane here. Soul of Ghost gets everything to get out of here. Cronium almost gets him on the backside here, and yeah, this is just not working out well. I love Mike Lacey on this. I don't know what the call was for the Zac last game, as he just ults away. He's like, okay, you guys pick up this egg. I'm gonna go kill this dude, and then the ultimate not yet available for the Jinx. The Super Mega Death Rocket is
not gonna get the shuffle as Jinx is able to flash away from it. Solo Ghost taking a lot of damage. This Jinx does so much right now.
Yeah, every time they fire with the rockets, it's just like oof, oof. Every single time, it's like an onomatopoeia almost, where you almost expect to see the words come across the screen. Mike Lacey on this or Lazy, whatever it is, on this Vi, so much better than the Zac of last game. If he's not on an AD Bruiser in Game 3, if they make it there, that's like illegal in my book. He's played so well on this Vi, just enough aggression, but also tempered with like strong calls and making sure that it's a good fight to take. Whereas last game on the Zac, it just like everything sort of seemed forced and based off of the fact that they just had like, you know, a passive that allowed them to kind of make mistakes. But here, playing it really smart is now Chronium and Valhalla in the bout side.
Yeah, and I don't think Valhalla's going to be able to get away. Chronium does still have that ultimate, going to be able to chase, sidesteps it, and is going to be trying to get away, getting slowed down. Not going to get the knockup, but now Guster Posey here to help out his top laner, as we do see. I think there was a TP that came down bot side. But no, actually, Chronium is just left alone, and Guster doesn't want to continue to chase this down. But up in the top side, Solo Ghost going to get his life taken away as Mike Lacey and the combination of Mike Lacey and his mid laner are able to take him down. And this is just more kills going over to the side of Bloom Gaming, and they have a clear command of this game.
Yeah, they do, and this is the water cat that you know, they were accepted. At least Zed was expecting to see, that he wrote about in the thing. Like, him on Estalia is pretty clean. The Hui didn't work out very well, but this game 2 is, you know, definitely going a lot better. The score may not seem it, but watch how kind of clean this like play is. Has Mike Lacey on the backside here, does end up getting jumped on. I think maybe Soul thought he had ult and didn't use it, or like thought he had ult but didn't. But still, they're just much better on this Talia, this control, this area, the lockdown, and maybe the ease of use for this champion is definitely going better. And so I really do like it. This comp from Bloom Gaming seems like this is like where they all just kind of go for their comfort picks.
And Guster was just found out here, but it's going to be able to flag and drag to get away. Observers pointing out the collector on the Vi right here. So this Vi is definitely going to start getting ahead as they just start taking so many kills and starts getting the kill credit. As they go in onto Guster Posey, he flags and drags, gets away. Mike Lacey now might have been found out, but he's going to be able to Q over the wall, get away. He's just feeling confident and just being able to go in on anybody that he sees.
Yeah, and this full AD Vi will end up being able to kill off like at least one shot, like the Rumble, Yunara, potentially Azir or Anivia. So the fact that there's so many squishy targets on the side of Strawberry Odium, I kind of like it, but it does kind of run that you know, high risk, high reward kind of deal, right? Where, you know, we're gonna have to see if they can temper it just enough to where they don't overextend and you know, don't just kind of get caught out or miss a vault breaker and then just like stand there and die right away. So we'll see if the risk is, if the juice is worth the squeeze, as they say, or if this is just a bad call. But Chronium on the side.
Oh, Chronium, you're caught by 5 different members behind an Anivia wall, gonna try to do it, but that Sion's a meatball. He doesn't take any damage at all, and now he's going back in, trying to charge him with the ult, not gonna be able to land onto any members. The Solo Ghost is using the ult to try to get away, but Chronium is gonna be able to take that kill. As Jinx on the backside, just launching off the rockets, trying to get the kills. Aquafila's gonna take out Guster Posey as he ends up getting a double kill on onto the Anivia as well. So Sion continuing to chase off Valhalla off on the top side as Yunara is trying to get away. A lot of damage shoved into the rumbled earth, and Mike Lacey going unstoppable as he takes out the bot laner. Jinx able to finish off the rumble, and that is going to be a 5-for-0 ace for the side of Bloom Gaming.
Hey guys, we have the Sion, let's go, right? Like, that's the call. And yeah, Chronium is so far ahead on side, he's so tanky. And then just, yeah, everything off the back end of that. Even though he misses the ultimate, it was a little sloppy. Son of Ghost, you know, ends up getting his ult off, but is caught on the wrong side. And this is what Aquafilas tried to do last time with the Weaver's Wall. This time they did not take it into a bad situation, cut the entire team off. They are using their composition so well this game, it almost makes it seem like they just completely just... I don't even know, just were completely just taken off in last game. This is a absolutely different Bloom Gaming that we are seeing this game as opposed to last time. Is now Mike Lacey looking for a little bit more, but might have bit off more than they could chew, but is able to just get out of there. But yes, very impressive from everybody on the side of Bloom Gaming, and Cloudbry on this Jinx. Like, 2 thumbs up on this performance right now, because they are doing such a good job at just being in the right position at the right time. And just they are firing on all cylinders this game.
Yeah, this is absolutely a complete 180 for the side of Bloom Gaming right now. As you said, Mike, Mike on this Vi right now has been an absolute terror. The Jinx now has the Runon, so there's the multi-target that's going on in these team fights now, making her attack speed even faster. It's looking real scary. 21 to 7, 11k gold down. It's gonna be really hard for them to come back from this unless they end up catching someone off. Yunara gets the rest of the items that they want because they're a full item down in comparison at this point to the Jinx, and that's just not fun. Valhalla though feeling kind of brave as he thinks he could take on this fed chunky boy of a Scion as Cronium is looking to fight him. Anivia trying to help, drops the ultimate but not doing the damage that the rumble shove into the rumble earth is gonna eliminate him, and that's gonna also be Cronium taking out the support, the mid or the support top laner taken out by the mid laner. This top lane turret is looking like it's going to be the next target for the side of Bloom Gaming, maybe potentially along with the inhib as well. Who can stop them when they're this far ahead?
And I feel like a broken record. Oh, never mind. Here we go.
Oh man, immediately gets the fight. Cronium is gonna go dominating as he takes out Solo. Ghost Shark Enthusiast able to take out his enemy AD carry, and Jarvan just gonna drop as he chased the Cataclysm, trying to see if he can get it done. And not instead of him getting it done, it's gonna be Bloom Gaming getting game 2 done and over with. Loveless trying to defend, trying to clear the wave, but not gonna be enough. You're just a bird looking like fried chicken as you get taken down and eaten up, sent to the gray screen, and that's gonna be it as they take down game 2 for Bloom Gaming.
Yeah, but I mean, hats off, right? Like, there's not much you could say. They came ready with the plan. They played just really well. Watercat had his redemption game against Soul. Cloudbry finally had a chance to shine in this one, and I really like what they did here, right? Like, Mike Lacey on this Vi gets the faster clear, gets over to the Scuttle, gets a very strong level 4 versus level 3 Jarvan engage in the early part of this, and then we'll just see this like right here. This is like right before the end of the game, where you just have Cronium just, I got this, and then Aquafelis just getting that double knockback into his stones, and then just, yeah, there's just nothing that they can do. Domination on this Yunara looks completely different than he did on the Xayah. There was really not much they could do at all, and they just kind of never got off. Whereas Jinx, one of those champions that you get a couple kills on and you can just sort of take over from there, and then, yeah, there's just so much damage on the side of them with that beefy Scion. Cronium, like I was about to say, like, I feel like a broken record. He is so strong on this top side for this team that if they can start cementing games around him and series around him, he might actually be able to carry this team into a winning record and into deep into the playoffs if they can start playing like this around him. Put him on one of these champions that can just like sustain the bully or even beat the bully in lane, and then just let him do his thing. And Mike Lacey, please play another bruiser in the jungle, because that was awesome to watch.
I think for a lot of people, I think a lot of people will be excited for this game. That like, I don't think we called it out enough too. Let's give Shark Enthusiast some credit, because like the ults were on point this time around. Like that one fight in the mid lane, they ended up tagging 2 different people from the extended encore, and that actually dragged them back in and forced domination to try to flash out and run away, but they ended up not being able to. So there was definitely a lot of different things that ended up happening. They really tightened up their gameplay over on the side of Bloom Gaming, and from what I'm understanding, that like now this is the first game that I believe that Odium has given up, or they've actually lost since they were going 2-2. I believe that they've been on a streak before this, so now this is their first game given up, and now both these teams are looking at it now like, okay, we really got to tighten this up. What do we do in this game 3 that's possibly going to get us over that hump to victory, with Strawberry Odium looking to try to make themselves a 3-2 record, while we do see for the side of Bloom Gaming, they're just trying to see if they can keep themselves within that playoff contention without getting into the loss here. So we will see you guys right after this break to bring you guys game 3 of Odium versus Bloom Gaming, and let's see which one of these 2 teams can close out this series.
If you spell shield that, you deserve it.
Oh, well, look at us. We're live again. And welcome, guys. Welcome back to Titans Olympus Game 3 of Strawberry Odium versus Bloom Gaming. As we got to see, Bloom Gaming had a complete and utter 180 off the backs of, between the backs of Mike Lacey, Cronium, and Cloudbree going absolutely crazy and just being able to really put the team on their backs and get them to this Game 3, where we now are looking at a hell of a series.
Yeah, it was kind of a 180 from like every single person except for Cronium, right? Like Shark Enthusiasts, as we were talking about, stepped up their game with their ults. They weren't forcing bad plays; they were developing good plays, And Cronium, doing what Cronium does, like I feel like he's such a strong top laner. I'll say it again and again until like he proves me wrong. But yeah, Mike Lacey on the Bruiser, on the Vi, like so much better than what they did on the Zac. And then Watercat having a good redemption game against Soul. But you're also starting 0-0, right? Like Odium, it seems like they wanted to do something not crazy, but like a little fancy and get out of their comfort zone. So we'll see if they, get back onto something, pretty standard, I guess, for Game 3. I wouldn't mind seeing like a nice like Rise or a good control mage for Soul of Ghost, something like that. And then, get domination back to a good, strong carry like a Xayah, maybe something with its own peel, or like a late game kind of carry that doesn't rely so much on the rest of their team doing well. And maybe we'll see if they can keep it back, because we see all the time where the momentum seems like it's in one team's favor, but then they kind of play like they were still ahead from last game, but it's 0-0. So we'll see.
Yeah, and as you can say, they do want
And
to try
not
to play
Freezer
something.
Assassin. She did, yes.
Yeah, no, that Vi was definitely a whole. That was a real assassin right there. As we do see the Aatrox being picked up here, that can be flexed either to the jungle or for the top lane. Probably more than likely going into the jungle. As we do see the Ornn being picked up for Valhalla Legend on the side of Odium. So they wanted, like you said, they want to try to play towards that late game a bit, and playing towards those Ornn items, getting those extra stats, and then even more extra stats on top of the fact with like a lot of the quest, it's gonna actually look really good for the side of Odium, as they end up picking here also the Xin Zhao for Guster Posey in the jungle. I guess he wants something that can be able to duel against the Aatrox in case it was going jungle. And nope, never mind, I'm wrong. We're gonna see Mike Lacey being put onto the Sejuani, looking like the teams are matching up 1-to-1 with each other. Or actually, I think this is just possibly just
it's just the finalized draft.
Yeah, okay,
this is the finalized draft here.
Okay,
So
I wasn't sure. I was like, I thought we were gonna
Crazy
get the pick
jungle.
order. Yeah, I
Top
was gonna say,
jungle
there's no way they're about to just match each other right now, right? But we
Yeah.
do see Watercat is gonna end up getting put on the Victor. That's been banned for the last 2 games. Oh, well, okay, never mind. We're getting.
all right,
We're getting
here's
now we're
here's
getting
what
the
happened
order.
in live.
Here's what happened in live.
I mean, to be fair, they still picked, mid jungle top and left their bot side,
I was just
for
talking.
the end.
I was just talking with the observer about. We were just talking about Sivir and how it was like Sivir could have been like, if you were up against a Sivir, that Anivia probably would have worked better last game. And it's like, yeah, that's very true. And it was just kind of a funny thing, because it's now we're seeing the Sivir being brought out this game, and that's kind of like, again, playing to one of those more late game style 80 carries, where she's super simple. Like, you just want to let her farm. Hopefully she can get some early kills on, but once she usually hits about 2 items, depending on who, it depends on which item build you're going. I'm personally the person who likes the Essence Navori build, but this is Navori into a Last Whisper item, but that depends again on the person. They might end up going something completely different, like the Yuntal's route, just to get the additional attack speed on crit and everything like that. But we do see here for the final bans is going to be Zig Swain on the side of Odium, with the Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers banning out Rakan, Alistair, to make sure that they pinch that support the support roles for the side of Loveless. We do see as well the bot lanes being picked up for the side of Bloom Gaming. Karma, Caitlyn, absolute. That's going to be so much poke. Like, against that Sivir, she can only spell shield once, and they're saying, hey, if anything, we're gonna make you bring the fight to us, and we're gonna pull you in with the Blitzcrank to try to go ahead and counter some of that squishiness on the side of Bloom Gaming.
Yeah, I don't know how much I love the Blitzcrank. Not that there's not viable targets for them to pick, but there's also some really bad targets for them to pick. You pull that Sejuani, or if you don't kill right away. Also, Sivir, I don't feel like has such great follow-up bursty damage that the Blitzcrank is really going to have to, at least for the laning phase, right? Like, unless he's just getting insane hooks, nearest turret where the minions aren't getting hit yet or something. This does seem a little off as far as what you would want to do. However, maybe you're just going to use the Sivir to get a good, minion advantage. You can stack a wave or something and then use the Blitzcrank on the back end. But into Karma, Caitlyn, like, I don't think you're going to have a lot of opportunities to be at a health advantage. But I guess we'll see. I like the Victor into the Akali matchup. I think that one can go either way. I love seeing Soul of Ghost on the Ori, so it'd be cool to see what he can do with this Akali. And then the jungles, I really want to see Mike on the Xin Zhao or a Wukong or something like that. Something that's, at least a little similar to the vibe, but we're going to get the Sejuani, so maybe it's just they like to go in a lot, and so we'll just see Mike going in a lot here. He's definitely on a champion that can, overextend and not like always pay the price for it. Is early on here, Loveless gonna get at least the 5 gold for spotting out the ward without giving it back. And then up top, Cronium on an Aatrox, dude. Like, I want to see this, right? And he's going to be trying to break down the armor of this Ornn. He's going to try to take Valhalla Legend, into some extended fights with the Conqueror and, try to not let that grasp make a lot of use out of it. And we've already seen what he can do when he's given a little bit of a lead on, like, a Scion. I can't wait to see what he can do on this Aatrox if, in fact, he can get this lead.
I'm not gonna lie, like like you were talking about how you want him on like some type of more AD bruiser type of champions. Even though that was an assassin Vi last game. I thought that's why I thought we were gonna see I thought I was gonna see the Aatrox going into the jungle. But as you were saying, like, we don't expect these it's really weird that this is a combination that we're playing with Sivir Blitzcrank in the bot side, where like you said, it doesn't have the damage that you're gonna want to be able to like really utilize it. Like, you're basically just trying to force flashes with your hooks, force out barriers, force out whatever spells you can get to stop, so then you're always at some type of constant advantage. And you're hoping that the Sivir can kind of follow up with some like at least some damage from the boomerang blade, some damage from the ricochets. That's what you want, and that's what Loveless is looking for here. But with them constantly being behind their minions, it's going to be a little hard here. But on the top side, we are getting a little bit more combat as Cronium is taking a little bit of damage from Valhalla and Legend. And I think that's just gonna be it. Unless he can land this, he gets the knock up, and yeah, he's just gonna keep willing at him away. Honestly, Ornn is kind of hard to fight in that early game for the Aatrox, I feel. And then after a while, though, Aatrox just becomes this thing that can't be stopped.
Yeah, as we're going to see, the Sivir's going to have to take an early back here. I didn't see exactly. Oh, they just wanted to get a call. Okay, so they're just going to be going for like lane shoving and last hitting and stuff. Now, the Blitzcrank, if the rest of their team can get ahead, if the Kali can get ahead, if Buster on this, or Guster on this Xin Zhao can get ahead, like, you are going to get into this position where anybody that you pull, including the Aatrox and even potentially Sejuani, can be a good target. But the kill potential on this bot side is probably a little bit lower than they would want, and then the rest of this team, it does seem like they have an opportunity to get ahead here. Is Guster Posey, this is the second time now we're seeing
so much damage dropping on the Mike Lacey, but he's going ahead and get the Aftershock proc, gonna be able to mitigate a little bit of that extra damage. Shark Enthusiast able to drop the shield as Guster tries to go back in, able to land a little bit of damage onto him, and that's gonna be Loveless almost able to get that hook on the Mike and bringing him back in. Mike does still have his flash, so if he wanted to try to be a little bit crazy with this engage, he could. Goes in, tries to land the pommel right on a Guster. Guster does he didn't know that Mike Lacey had his support behind him. Flash over the wall, first blood gonna drop his domination, though, gonna be able to take out the jungler. Mike Lacey, his Shark Enthusiast, trying to run away from the rest of the team. He's gonna be able to flash over the wall and get away. That's 1 for 1, but first blood going over to the side of Bloom Gaming.
Yeah, and it was just a good re-engage that kept on top of it. And this is now what I was about to say. The second time that we've seen Guster Posey like forego his Gromp to try to get either an early get. This time he was trying to get an early gank. Last time he was trying to get to the scuttle, but he was just behind. I want to see him do a full clear or do a 12 CS clear into like a cheese gank up top, especially on Xin Xiao. Getting on top of Cronium would be huge, but yeah, I don't know. Is now there's 2 fights about to go on here.
Yep, we do see there's a little bit of fighting going on between Xin Zhao and Sejuani over this crab here. Aquafilas walking up. Guster Posey caught in between, dashes over to the Victor, trying to get away, able to walk away for a little while longer. Can he get it? No, he can't. Mike Lacey going to be able to land a little bit more, trying to donate the kill. Aquafilas on the Victor going to be able to take that, but going right over is going to be the Akali as he's able to get it onto the jungler, trying to get a little bit more. Going to get the sweet spots. Cronium flashes onto the Akali to get the sweet spot perfect, and that's going to be another kill going over to the Bloom Gaming top laner.
If you're Valhalla Legend, are you just in the comms right now going from absolutely quiet to like, really guys? Like, like him that kill over the Cronium is just not what you want. Is now he's gonna have to deal with this Aatrox with the kill, and it does look like Valhalla Legend is gonna go for the Fimbulwinter, probably into like a very high health, maybe even you know, like a drain tank kind of deal. Is now getting completely zoned off of all, not just CS but experience on this Orin. Is Mike Lacey is up here looking for a gank, is going to get on top of him, but Valhalla Legend is going to be able to get away. Yeah, Cronium following up down there, getting ahead. I do like that Bloom Gaming is kind of doing what Odium was doing to them in Game 1. They've continued this in Game 2 and now in Game 3, where they are making sure they have the numbers advantage in every spot that they go, right? Like, it starts out at least a 2v1 so that you can get that first little bit. So I really like the strategy change that they had between Games 1 and 2. And it's carrying over into Game 3, and they're doing a really good job with this. And we have not seen this Blitzcrank really come out just yet, but you know, time will tell, I guess.
I'm wondering if Odium is just playing like, hey, these are just all of our like comfort picks, kind of like for what was being banned out and what was currently, because again, the unfortunate Domination not able to get their hands on their Aphelios whatsoever at all. Like that was banned all 3 games. Then again they were like, they banned the Thresh because they don't want Thresh getting through for Loveless, and they were like, all right, we can't get Thresh, so hey, let's get the next best thing, the next best hook champion in Blitzcrank. So it's kind of yeah, it felt like they were just trying to get something that seemed like comfort for them, and now it's I'm not sure if that's really working out in their favor. As Cronium here going ahead and starting to fight Valhalla Legend as he decides to just shove himself away, and I'm really curious to see like if Valhalla Legend, if not Valhalla, but if Odium ends up winning this game, I want to be very curious and possibly ask like, what was the comp idea for this one? I'm very curious. Hold on. They go in. The chains land, brings him back. Cronium looking for those sweet spots, trying to get a little bit more of that fighting done. And this is just what's gonna be the whole time. Orange just constantly dueling against Cronium on this Aatrox, and Cronium, wise ward right there, uses the ult to go ahead and give himself the speed boost to try to get away from a potential gank from the Xin Zhao. But Xin Zhao going off to his Krugs. Now that he knows that he's not there, World Ender has been was popped and done. And now I think he's looking for the fight if he can. Gets the sweet spot onto him, lands the chain. Solo, is it gonna be it? He baited him away, in the Thornmail, not gonna, or the Bramble Vest, not gonna be enough to mitigate him and his damage. And that's gonna be a solo kill to the Aatrox 2-0 up in the top side. And now that they know that the jungler's up in the top side, Mike Lacey looking to take this dragon. But Loveless is here along with Domination, but I don't think that they can really do anything in this 3v2. But Guster is very close, misses the hook, goes in. Mike Lacey hits the charge, gets the snare. Shark Enthusiast able to stop the Blitzcrank. His Domination is off to the backside, trying to get some of these ricochets off. He's not going to be able to get enough, though, as Cloudberry goes over the wall, chased down by the Akali as Guster Posey able to take out Shark Enthusiast, and is continuing the chase as he takes out the Caitlyn. But Mike Lacey able to get one back on the back end there, and that's going to be able to take out Soul as the spell shield comes through. Domination able to avoid any more damage, and that's Guster going in to try to get Mike Lacey as well. But that's gonna be the end of the fight. They were trying to extend it a little bit more, but they decided to all back off. Wisely done, as Bloom Gaming still kind of on top in this game, but Odium still showing signs of life.
Yeah, and then I like the Good job by Bloom Gaming to get that dragon and everything, and then on the back end of it, Loveless has now had two where if you're looking at the UI, it almost or the graphic. Never mind. Valhalla
Wait,
Legend fight.
hold on. This Cronium trying to get another one. Here comes the Ornhorn getting called. Does it miss it? Able to knock him up, but is it gonna be enough? Cronium gets the flash out of the Orn, and it's done, and it's good. Solo return, Valhalla Legend able to get the shutdown onto Aatrox up in the top side.
That is such a huge just breather for him, but they are gonna have to teleport another fight.
It's here. This is the jungle going in. Mike Lacey able to take out Blitzcrank very quickly in the beginning of the fight, and Guster Posey looking like the next target as they're able to knock him down. He dashes in on top of Cloudberry, but it's not going to be enough as Mike Lacey gets the double kill, and they're looking for domination next. Spell Shield able to negate the Karma ultimate. The RQ, and it's not going to be enough, but they might look for this dive. They don't know that Soul is right behind them though. Revealed on the ward, they're looking to back off. Mike Lacey saying everyone back away.
Yeah, and that, as I was saying before that happened, or before that fight broke out, is like that is such a huge like sigh of relief play for Valhalla Legend Cronium. Before that though, like the 5,000 IQ play to like catch Xin Shao on the ward and then World Ender just like to walk away and just show like, okay, he's obviously gonna back because he doesn't have ult. Waits for all of the cooldowns from Valhalla and then going in. I thought that was such an amazing play, but now
Aqua Felix caught in the middle of 3 different members pulled in by the Blitzcrank hook and is now looking to lose his life. Uses the ultimate to try to fight back, but that's gonna be it. The perfect execution. Is it perfect execute? I can't remember the Akali ult name. Perfect execute from the Akali, gonna be able to get that down, even though Zinzao backs off Mike Lacey from the charge, trying to get him away, knocks up the Sejuani, as now he's looking for Akali as his new target. Akali looking around, seeing who they can get, as Cronium is now here, looking to back off the fight, able to land the ultimate onto him, and that's gonna be another kill, going over to the Aatrox, as Ornn now having to run away. World Ender popped and is ready to go. Right now, this is just absolutely insane. The Aatrox does not care about what anyone else is doing, and I think he's building, what's it called, the we forget this item. I think it's is it the Hydra item for lethality that he's building right now, or
the Profane
Hydra? Yes.
I don't think. I mean, he has a Last Whisper right now, so I don't think so. I mean, there's no Tiamat into Brutalizer, but he is winning these trades, I'll say that.
Yeah, Ornhorn called down, trying to land, able to get it onto him, but this Aatrox is still fighting him way too hard, and he still has the sustain, surprisingly. Like, he doesn't even have Sundered Sky, and yet he's getting all the sustain. Mike Lacey, though, he's popped off on a ward, but there's going to be able to get this dive off. There's no way. No Ornhorn to try to protect himself. Not going to be able to get the knock up. They're able to get him down into the sweet spots, pull the chains in, and that's another kill going over to the Aatrox up on the top side. He's starting to get into raid boss mode.
Yeah, he is, and it's just a matter of time before he completely takes this completely over his Loveless, just missing a Hextech flash into, just taking so much damage here on the backside of this Loveless. This is not what it, like, when you pick the Blitzcrank into double range, you're hoping that you land at least like 2 or 3 out of 10 hooks. I have not seen him land a strong hook yet. Every single one seems to be like right just over max range. So this is really disheartening if you are Loveless, but that's kind of like the risk reward you run with this champion. Not only can you accidentally pull the Sejuani, but if you're not hitting your hooks, then you're just basically like a champion that is just creating space and doing nothing else. Whereas Karma gets to shield, she gets to poke, she gets to root up, all this other stuff. So Loveless, if they start hitting some more hooks, you know, you do have a 102 Sivir that's farming very well. Cull is about to be completed, so that's going to push them to their second item just a little bit quicker.
Oh, knocked out the Caitlyn, able to get some of the damage down, but this is what we meant. The Ignite Blitz ultimate not going to be enough to kill her, and that's what you were talking about, that even though there's a decent amount of damage coming from the Sivir, it wasn't enough. But the mid lane fight now, as the junglers are trying to fight off Akali, able to get the shutdown on the Mike Lacey. Soul, though, might be ticking down as the laser's going to find the Aqua Felix, able to take that kill. Valhalla Legend, though, coming down to save his jungler, as they're going to be able to go in, and not enough, but that last auto connects, and Red Buff going to be able to take him down. Teleport coming in, though. Aatrox looking for a bit of the fight off at the end there, but not gonna find it, and instead is just gonna have to stop and clear that wave.
No, but he is going to be here for the dragon, and that's huge. If they can take this second dragon and put the onus on Odium to make sure that they don't have like one dragon away from soul point, absolutely huge. So as much as it seemed like it was super late to the fight, and it was, it will be very important for Bloom Gaming to be able to secure this dragon and basically make the dragon the most important objective on the map at any given time now, because if you get this, depending on which dragon it is, it's either going to be Ocean or
Cloudberry just ends up getting pulled off to the side as the dragon's getting taken. Had to use the net, and I believe the no flash used, but had to use the net to try to get away from this as we see the TP coming in. Ornhorn called over, everyone flashing over the wall, gonna be able to get him. Blitzcrank waiting for the hook to be up, not gonna be able to get anybody, barely missing as the World Editor is popped, but finding the exhausted Akali off to the backside, getting caught in the middle, using the perfect execute to be able to get away. But Orn now caught in the middle of 3 members, and that's gonna be no one dying on either side, but that's still the Drake given over to the side of Bloom Gaming.
That is one of the most favorite things that's one of the coolest things I am going to see for this entire weekend, and that is the Ornhorn coming through the Dragon Pit, and then all 5 members of Bloom Gaming either using their dash or their flash to get over the wall so they don't all just get slaughtered in the pit. Absolutely insane and awesome to see. Is now Mike Lacey kind of caught out here, but just a little bit. But yeah, very, very strong. They take the dragon, and then they disengage properly on the back end. There's now Cronium becoming that raid boss.
Yeah, but he ends up getting found by Guster Posey as he was chasing down Valhalla Legend, trying to get these sweet spots on. Chains doesn't end up getting the pull. Guster Posey going back in. He does have his Orn for help, and that might be just enough. Flash, dash, trying to get away. He wants that little bit of damage. Heals up, and it shouldn't be. The Grievous Wound should be doing more than this. But Cronium on a killing spree and is now looking for the second. Mike Lacey coming through, though, as he gets shut down by Guster Posey, but the next kill going over to the Sejuani as Zinzao goes to the gray screen. Loveless, though, finally finds Cloudberry and is going to end up taking that kill. You want on your Sivir, but this is the momentum that you guys need to keep yourselves in this game. Odium now coming alive.
Yeah, I don't hate giving it to the Blitzcrank. I think getting the Blitzcrank a little bit tankier or quicker is probably super important too. But yeah, good job just running up and then just using your knock up that he has to guarantee the hook on the backside of that, not letting her snap trap out of there. Pretty strong play from Loveless, and that's kind of what you want. And anytime that Karma's not there, you want to see that. Is now Soul of Ghost and Mikey fighting in the mid lane.
Yeah, but I don't think Mike knows that Blitzcrank is here to try to help out Soul. Oh no, he ends up turning around, not realizing Aqua Felix is on the way, having to use the Shroud to get away from the now domination. Gonna be able to clear out this wave in the mid lane, and that's the end of that fight. Even though Mike Lacey gets pulled over the wall, trying to get some damage, flash forced out of the Sejuani, and that's a nice summoner spell taken by the side of Odium.
Yeah, and during that time, Cronium taking down the top lane. This is just another small advantage that he's getting himself. That's 2 dragons. And the Grubs now going over to the side of Bloom Gaming. This early game for them has been very, very strong. We have now seen that Levelers is starting to find their range on this Blitzcrank. They've had like 2 or 3 like really good grabs, and then also, you know, guaranteeing that kill on the bot side there. And Sivir with the Essence Reaver now getting the second item about to be completed, and Loveless kind of caught out here.
Frank getting found out. Mike Lacey might be able to chase him down. He's stunned up, rooted, not gonna be able to get away. Cloudberry getting that kill, donated right over to the Caitlyn. Nicely done by the side of Bloom Gaming to get a nice little pick on the enemy support.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because if you look at that top side of the map in the river, there are 4 red wards, so they should have seen that coming. I think maybe they just got a little zoned in on what was going on in mid, but now you basically guaranteed a Rift Herald over to the side of Bloom Gaming. Not the best play, but you know, not the end of the world either, as Akali and Zinchao on the bot side are trying to make a cross-map play. I don't know if it's going to happen, but Watercat is diveable on this Victor if they play it right.
Yep, and it looks like Soul trying to clear out some of the wave, but taking a lot of poke damage there. Not going to get stunned up at the gravity field, but the laser coming out is definitely poking him up. I do want to see if they do try to make something happen here, but that Scryer's Bloom definitely gave it away if there's any potential plan. So Aquafil is feeling a little bit safe, knowing that his jungler is around. There is no vision from the side of Odium, except for in that tri-bush there. So they shouldn't be completely spotted out yet until they get to that point. But yeah, so now they're gonna just back off the bot lane because they know that they're there to support Aquafelis, and we're getting a fight up on the top side as Valhalla is trying to fight off this Ray Boss 8. Aatrox calls in the Ornhorn, gonna be able to knock him up, dashes over the wall to try to avoid it, but not gonna be able to land it all. Goes unstoppable. We're seeing them beat up back and forth. Guster Posey going over the wall. That's the World Ender popped. He's gonna have to try to get away. The chains pulls him back. Valhalla Legend now trying to chase down the Aatrox, but look what he's doing. So they're gonna summon the Riptail down in the mid lane to go ahead, as they see that both the jungler and the top laner are up there, so they can't really stop this siege onto the mid. They're not gonna be able to get that turret though. Rift Herald, not enough damage to be able to secure that for them, and they're not gonna be able to open up this mid lane for themselves.
Yeah, they're really fortunate that on the side of Odium that the mid turret didn't go down, because they had Mike Lacey waiting in the wings at those Raptors, ready to just pop the ult here. But now we're gonna get a teleport and a big fight.
He teleports right into the middle of two different members. Gonna miss the Sejuani ulti, but he does see in the Shroud the Akali trying to use the ultimate to get over onto the Caitlyn. Gonna be able to use the first flip, but not gonna be able to get the R2 off to be able to get the execution damage. Trying to go over the wall, gets the shuriken, lands on the Cloudberry, and Zola Ghost gonna be able to get it, but dies for his actions, as the Karma's able to get the kill off into the bot side, to the backside, as Cronium now off in the middle of the fight, just able to do the Ray Boss things in the middle of everybody. Aatrox looking absolutely insane as Aquaphilius secures the kill on the Guster Posey, and they're continuing to chase down Domination, having to use the flash on the Sivir. Blast Cone gets him away, and that's gonna be 3 for 1. And the Drake now going over to the side of Bloom Gaming. Once again, the dragon stacking is working in their favor. Aatrox teleporting to the bot side for this fight is exactly what they needed in that moment.
Yeah, and this is actually just really cool, right? Like, and Soul of Ghost doing a good job here, you know, making everybody miss. You have 3 different fights going on all at the same time. Valhalla comes in onto a trap here. And this is just one thing now where I think that Loveless's job might transition into grabbing this Aatrox and just getting him completely out of the fight. A really strong play from Soul of Ghost, but kind of caught on the back end here where, you know, all 4 members. And now it's a north-south fight. And in these north-south fights, when Loveless does not hit that hook onto Shark Enthusiast on the bottom side, it's just reset City for Cronium and his health bar, as it's just one after another. So I do think that maybe Loveless might have to transition in these fights over to more of like a Mordekaiser kind. Like when you're a losing Mordekaiser and you're just like, I'm just going to end up like throwing, you know, myself against this, you know, Vayne or whatever, just so that they can't be there anymore, you know. But now Soul of Ghost and Mike are fighting again. Mike loves scrapping with this here, and don't think that
he knows that he could do it, but he thought Aquaphilius was going to keep walking up to try to get some additional damage down. They might be able to take the kill on the Akali, but I don't think the communication was there between the mid laner and jungle of Bloom Gaming. So that's the ultimate used by the Sejuani right there. But that was a lot of damage done onto Akali, and so he's like, hey, I'm establishing dominance now. I don't even have MR yet.
Ooh, here we go.
Oh, Ornhorn getting called down. They need 3 members for this raid boss. That's exactly what they need to do, as Cronium is surrounded by 3 different people, getting the heals off as he continues to land these sweet spots. So much healing coming in from the Aatrox. He's like, I can do this all day, until he cannot. Shut down going over to Guster Posey after being able to take down that Aatrox, but they're gonna get a kill right back onto the ADC, as that's gonna be Sejuani taking down Domination, and that is a 1-for-1 off the different sides of the map.
Yeah, I guess you don't really need the ultimate on Sejuani to make plays. You're just coming over the wall and just drop it onto Domination. There's like so much tankiness and damage on the side of Bloom Gaming right now, where obviously the Sejuani and then all of the shields that we're getting from Karma. We don't have any shield killing items on the side of Odium just yet. And then you have Cronium on the Aatrox, 3 members having to take him down. To be fair, one of them is a Blitzcrank that, you know, waited forever to use the Zignite, but yeah, it just seems like they have to spend so much to kill 1 member of Bloom Gaming, whereas Bloom Gaming just kind of like steamroll into it. But I will say this, for the 5v5s, these fights are going long. They're like a minute long, minute 05 long, extended, strong 5v5. So this still can go either way. I think, you know, one strong Ornhorn into like a really strong, or like a really good pull onto like Crowdby or Shark Enthusiast from Loveless can turn these fights over really quickly. So this is still anyone's game. It's a 2.9k gold lead for the side of Bloom Gaming, but they just need to get a good fight that they really want, and maybe get a private target with one of these Blitzcrank hooks, and then they might be able to turn this. But here we go again with another scrap.
Mike Lacey and Cronium finding Valhalla Legend, having to use the flash to get away, getting slowed down, Ornhorn called up, chains being brought in, gonna end up being able to get the horn off just in time as Valhalla Legend called down to about a quarter HP, and one more auto, that's gonna be it. Cronium able to take him down, misses the ulti, barely is able to land onto somebody, but now they find Loveless as he goes over the red wall, and they're trying to get a little bit more. Guster Posey though able to find their next target as they're trying to heal, as they're trying to go over, dashes in, able to get them backed off as Cronium trying to run away from the fight. Mike Lacey though able to get rid of Soul of Ghost. Juster jumping over to Aatrox. Aatrox healing up. Victor gonna be able to take the kill off on the back end, and now is continuing to chase down Domination. Gravity Field goes down, forcing him to move over one way, but that's gonna be Mike Lacey able to take the kill, and they're chasing down Loveless now. They're trying to go for the ace. They lost Aatrox, but they don't care as the rest of the team is well enough ahead, and that is Room Gaming now opening up the game even more for themselves.
Yeah, it is. It's what we were talking about earlier. The Sivir paired with the, I think, just not enough damage. But Mike Lacey getting a really strong engage here on Valhalla Legend. I like that he tried to like show that he was gonna flash over the wall, but he didn't. Barely gets the Ornhorn off, which kind of saves this fight. And then the silence just not long enough. The boomerang goes wide, but now you're starting to see like where the karma comes in. Those shields are absolutely insane. And then trying to fight this on the backside, misses the hook, and then Soul of Ghost coming in gets immediately exhausted. So really good strong fingers on Shark Enthusiast for that one. And then it just seems like every single person on the side of Bloom Gaming, with the exception of Watercat, was like one sneeze from Sivir away from dying, but they just couldn't finish the job.
Yeah, and look at Mike right there, showing no fear in the face of 3 different people. Easily could have gotten pulled in. The forcing the ultimate out of Guster Posey. He's now being chased down, uses the blast cone, able to get away, and they really don't want to give up this soul, but I think this is going right over to Bloom Gaming as they start it right now.
This might be like the last fight of the day, but yeah, no, they definitely have to try
called
this.
down, able to knock up 3 different members. They go in, Redemption coming down, Guster Posey able to take out Cloudberry. This might be the fight that they're looking for, and Shark Enthusiast is taking down low. Akali able to find the shutdown onto the support, and it's going to be Cronium caught in the middle of 3 different members of the Victor's ultimate is getting bigger and wider, able to be able to find them all. Cronium trying to fight off the Sivir off in the back end, trying to get the heals, able to get it, not going to be enough. Is the Boomerang Blade going to be able to take it? Shut down over to the Victor, but Cronium able to take up the ADC. And that's going to be both teams 4 for 4. And Soul really looking for that kill to make it an ace for themselves. But it's not going to be it. They're able to take it. And right now, Odium still saying we are in this game.
Yeah, they are. Like, they barely win/lose that fight. It was a 4 for 4. Good Ornhorn on the front end of here. And now we see when he gets a target, and there's other members besides the Sivir around, that Blitzcrank hook is absolutely huge. And then we see the Ricochet popping off here from Domination. One really sad part of this is on the backside of this fight, over in the side brush by mid lane. Cronium actually walks in and she loses vision. That is a kill right there that turns into a death just because they lose vision. And then Cronium on the backside here somehow kills Soul of Ghost there. Like, I don't think that should happen when you have 0. But here we go with Deja Vu. This looks very similar to what we just saw 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, but this time it's not going to be the same type of setup. They were there too soon. Bloom Gaming, though, getting pulled in. Mike Lacey being the tank that he needs to be, pulling them back in. And that's going to be Loveless taken down by Cloudberry as they're continuing the chase. World Ender, I believe, was popped by the Aatrox. Yes, it was. But it's not going to... It doesn't need any more to chase them down. And right now, even though they had that really good close fight earlier, this is still Bloom Gaming's game to control.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know if it's as definitive to say is like their game to lose, but they did just pick up Cloud Soul. Dragon Soul. They do get the Baron on the backside of that, and now that that last fight was nothing like the fight before it, where they just kind of like, but I suppose he's going for it.
He doesn't end up getting it. He gets in the middle of the pit, and it's just probably going to end up being the end of his life. Guster Posey ends up getting taken down by Cloudberry as they jump over the wall. Soul of Ghost really trying to see if they can use the Shroud to make something happen. Gets the Shuriken onto one member, but instead is going to use it for the escape. Goes over the wall and escapes back under their tier 2. Getting chunked down. But you know what? Who doesn't care about turrets? It's Cronium on this Aatrox, and is on a killing spree once again as he ends up taking out the Akali from before, as they did in the mid lane, takes him out in the top lane, and now using the Baron buff, they're guiding these minions right into the base of Odium.
68, I think, was the health after Guster Posey smited that. So left 68 health on the Baron there, and that's the difference between them turning that and not. As Loveless is going to get a pull into here, and they are trying to scrap this.
Horn called down. They do still have their Nexus turrets to try to help and protect them. Redemption being called down by the Karma. Going to be able to top off everyone's HP. They're not going to be able to continue this onslaught on the base, but now they at least cracked open that top lane.
Yeah, and I think this is smart. Just back off. You got the Baron, you got the turret, you got the inhibitor, and now just take the jungle. Like, they're actually, what they're doing is like perfect. Take the jungle, get all of the resources that you can on the backside of this. Cloudberry, thank God they weren't inside that brush and getting killed. You can still overstep, right? You can still overstep. You can waste this Baron. So I like the fact that they are being patient with their calls. They're not one of these teams that is just like completely dominating and running roughshod over everybody. So stick to what you're good at, making the smart decision and making the smart call, and then trying to get yourself into another position where maybe you can get Blitzcrank to hook Chromium, and fight off on the back of that if you can have them live. But really strong decision making by Bloom Gaming and smart fights that they're taking here. And if they can keep Cloudberry and Shark Enthusiast alive like they have been, these fights are like almost impossible for Odium to win.
Yeah, and at this point, like, there's not much else I think that Odium can possibly do, especially when looking at this Aatrox just staring. Like, he literally stares at you, and even though you pull him in, he's still caught in the middle of three members, still healing up. We do see the hunt called down by Sivir trying to get themselves a little bit extra speed, but Cloudberry going to be able to avoid the Akali, able to take the kill, and the first one as Chromium ends up taking out the Sivir. That's the second one of the game, and that's already two members gone for the side of Odium. Double kill going over to the Aatrox as he's up in there fountain trying to get the last kill, but that's not going to be it, and the turrets are dropping. The Nexus is about to drop, and Bloom Gaming gets the victory for themselves in game 3, and they keep themselves in playoff contention, and they're able to show that they got what it takes.
The reverse sweep is the first one of the Friday series that we've seen this week, of this season. So congratulations to Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers. Like, that was a hard fought series, right? Like, Odium came out in game 1 and made it look easy. Like, I think one of our producers was talking about it akin to like bullying, right? And it did. It looked really bad for Bloom Gaming, but this shows a lot of mental fortitude from them, right? Like, they're 2-2 now. They're going to be basically tied with Odium for the third, fourth seed here as we go in. Maybe even the fifth seed. It could be a three-way tie. I'd have to look at the standings, but coming off of this, being beaten so bad in the first game, and then coming out game 2 and making it look like, okay, like we're here, and then game 3 just continuing that momentum, and hopefully they can build off of this. I don't the complete 180 that we saw from everybody, or at least the bottom 4, as I like to call it, the jungle, mid, bot, and support that we saw from them, and then they just continued that. And like I was saying before the game 3, Chromium is a joy to watch, and he's a lot of fun to cast, and I'd have to give him the MVP for this series, because he just did such a good job of, even in a losing matchup, winning that matchup, right? Like, even in a losing lane, winning the lane, and even in the first game was a strong point of this team. And now if you're Odium, you have to kind of go lick your bruises, or lick your wounds, and ice your bruises, and just kind of reset. And like, for both of these teams, the season is not over, right? Like, you're both 2-3. You're both like right there on the cusp of being able to get back into the playoffs. So just kind of get back, reset, scrim a little bit, find out, try to get back to like what worked. And Soul of Ghost on an Orianna type champion absolutely like killed it. And just kind of like looking at like they had Division 1, like in more often than not, if you were looking at the minimap, they had Division 1. They were doing a much better job, but they just weren't paying attention to it.
Right, and it's unfortunate for them, but it ultimately led to them just becoming the losers of this game. And it's nothing bad about it that they ended up losing. It's just more of, what can you guys do better next time? And I think that's what they're going to really be looking for, because I think that they didn't think that game 2 was going to happen for themselves on the side of Odium. And I think that game 3 was definitely not meant to happen. I think that was more probably I have to admit probably a little bit more of a draft difference because again like the bot lane didn't exactly have the exact identity. Like you can't do a whole lot of damage into a blitzcrank hook that you're expecting with a Sivir, you know, even though Sivir I
Mhm.
think did end up doing the most damage for their team. It was still like it wasn't until those later game fights you weren't able to get that early game advantage that you were hoping to get for the bot lane. You weren't able to really utilize the Akali's assassinations as much as you were hoping to, and
Mhm.
that Ornn you weren't able to play to the late game to get those Ornn items and hopefully have yourselves in a better spot to be able to fight. So there was just a lot of things that unfortunately didn't go the way of uh of Odium, and so Bloom Gaming was able to take full advantage of that.
Yeah, they were. And once again, congratulations to Bloom Gaming. Malco, thank you so much. It was a pleasure as always. Thank you, everybody that showed up. And congratulations once again to Bloom Gaming Bubble Blowers. Thank you to Shivam on the broadcast and Anti as always on the Observer. Great job to both of you. You made this so much easy or so easy for us to do. Thank you, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you next Friday with more Titan Esports Olympus League. Have a great weekend.